What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Depending on who you ask, it might be just the opposite. But anyway, you see on the monitor behind me, the question is posed, do you feel safe? Why am I asking about whether or not you feel safe? And before I continue, let me make sure I'm on Wi-Fi so that we don't have any signal problems tonight. So give me a minute to turn the Wi-Fi on. And there we go. Okay. So what I'm going to be asking is, there's three reasons why many would suggest we need a strong border. And with so many people in the country, either here illegally, undocumented, expired visa, whatever you want to call it, there's three reasons that this country could be harmed by having illegal immigrants within its ranks or on American soil. You heard these likely because Trump orated them throughout the presidential campaign quite frequently. Number one, Mexico is not sending us their best and brightest, they're sending us their rapists and murderers. So we've all heard that these folks are coming here, bad hombres, and they're coming here taking, you've heard probably a million stories on Lincoln Raleigh. Lincoln Raleigh comes up anytime there's a talk in regards to violent immigrants in this country illegally. So you've heard that. So we're going to be talking about deportation talk from the notion of there's a lot of alleged violent gang members, Trinidad Agua, MS-13. A lot of these folks are committing crimes. This is what you're hearing. I'm going to ask you about that. So there's three reasons we need to have a strong deportation process. Number one, getting rid of bad hombres. There's two more. Number two, you've also heard this throughout the campaign theater, predominantly coming from Trump. Black jobs. I'm just going to throw that word out there because you know what we're talking about. That these folks come here, they work under the table, they undercut salaries, and they take American jobs. So in addition to coming here committing crimes, a lot of these folks are coming here and they are taking jobs from you and I. And of course, Trump added on black jobs. And there's a third one, and I'm trying to see how I should phrase this. I'll go with the narcotics rule, but I believe there's four actually. But the other one is okay. There is four. I'm going to go with just give you a third one here, and we'll talk about the fourth one as well. Third one is they are here to tax our resources, like social programs. They're here getting welfare, food stamps, EBT cards. Food stamps, EBT card, the same thing. They're getting EBT cards. They're getting things that you and I should be getting, but it's going to the illegal immigrants. Housing assistance. In New York, they claimed they were putting them up in 5-star hotels or whatever the hell they were suggesting, that they were getting Obama phones, whatever you want to say. They were getting more stuff than the American citizen. So the notion is we need to have a strong deportation process, get these folks out of here because they are getting things that we should not, that should not be going to immigrants. And of course, healthcare is another one people brought up. So those are the three reasons we need to have a strong deportation process. Criminals, rapists, and murderers, bad hombres, that's number one. They're taking American jobs, black jobs, that's number two. And last but not least, they're getting all these entitlement programs. I put a slash because number three could also be the claim that they're bringing over narcotics and trafficking youth. That's another one. So what I want to ask you folks, as you see on the monitor behind me, with those three reasons as to why we need a strong deportation process in America, and right now with Tom Homan working under Trump, you absolutely have the strongest deportation program in U.S. history. Border crossings at the border, I think they're down over 90%. I mean, there ain't nobody down there but the U.S. military. Ain't nobody. So we got a really strong deportation process, and we got a real strong border control. So in regards to those three things I asked, you see what's on the monitor behind me. Are you feeling safe? I'm asking this from a standpoint of, now that we're deporting hundreds, if not thousands of migrants per day, are you feeling safer on the streets of America? In your local area, do you feel safer now that these bad hombres are leaving? Has the crime in your local area began to drop? These are folks that were coming here to harm Americans, rapists and murder. Do you feel the crime in your local area is dropping? Maybe car thefts are dropping. Maybe folks that are maybe homicides are dropping. Maybe sexual. Do you feel, now that these folks are being deported, that is dropping in your area? Now, keep in mind, they're really infiltrating California, New York, Illinois, the sanctuary cities. Do you see the news suggesting that in LA, in Chicago, in New York, where they're at, do you feel the crime is on the decline? Do you see where crime is dropping? Because that's what we were being told. These people were bad hombres. That's only number one. Number two, the American jobs, black jobs. Now that they are being deported, and you're hearing about all of these folks being sent out, they're going to work sites and things like that. What is the unemployment like in your area? Do you see an influx of jobs? You go on Indeed, you go on Career Builder. Are you noticing that there are plenty of jobs now available in your area? Is the unemployment, is it becoming lucrative? So much so that employers are so eager to get workers that maybe salaries are going up in your area. Are you seeing benefits to your local job market now that all these folks are being kicked out? Because we were told they were taking jobs from Americans. Do you now find yourself inundated with all sorts of available jobs? I could go work here now, I could go work here now. There's just jobs everywhere. Are you seeing that? That's number two. Last but not least, the social programs. These folks are getting welfare and food stamps. They're getting all these EBT cards and all of this stuff. Do you feel maybe a slight bit more confident that if you needed the U.S. government, maybe you found yourself needing welfare and an EBT card, you would be more likely to get it now that immigrants are not getting it? Do you feel that your government would now be there at the ready for you more now that we're starting to get rid of all these people? This is the three things we're going to talk about, because we were told that they're coming here to harm people, they're taking jobs, and they're taking resources. Do you feel like now that they're being deported, things are getting better? Less crime is in your neighborhood, more jobs are available for you and people in your neighborhood. And of course, if you fell flat on your face, there would be a lot more government assistance now that it's not going to these people. And of course, I did mention as a side note, narcotics and things like that. Do you feel like maybe now that these folks are being deported, for folks who are, dealing with addictions and narcotics, maybe it's harder to get the stuff now because they were bringing so much narcotics in our area, in our country, across the board. Now that the border's secure, you're hearing about all of the drug addicts claiming they can't get their hands on anything. Are you hearing any of this in your area? So that's what we're going to talk about, the deportation process and how great this should make America, at least according to President Trump. Also, I want to ask you folks, how do you feel about the potential of more Alcatraz facilities? Alligator Alcatraz. Florida is already working on a second one. Ron DeSantis has stated they're working on, in fact, two more. So there will likely be two more Alligator Alcatraz facilities in Florida, probably within a few months. They build them pretty quick, and they went from a ICE budget of $8 billion. $8 billion was what the budget was for ICE. After the big beautiful bill, they now have $28 billion. So their budget swell up 3.5 times. So there's not $28 billion. So they got plenty of money to build. $28 billion can go a long way. That's a lot of money. $28 billion they found. Now, we could have a conversation about all the homelessness and vets and stuff like that. You actually were able to find an additional $20 billion at a whim to go to ICE. So when people tell you, when things are going on and people always ask the response of, well, who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for it? Clearly the money is there. We seem to be able to find money. It's just depends on what we want it for. When we want to find it, we seem to be able to find it. But $28 billion is the new ICE budget. And last but not least, I'm asking, what is your reality on Trump? What is your reality on Trump? I want to hear from you folks, because I'm going to give it to you this way. And I meant to do a video on this. And this is to my beloved MAGA to start. I'm going to talk to MAGA to start this out. Remember when the Democrats were saying Trump lost the 2020 election, And based on what you saw with your eyes, no one was going to convince you. You could see with your eyes what you thought. No one was going to convince you that Biden won that election or got more votes than Obama. Same thing would apply with Biden's cognitive abilities. The Democrats are trying to convince you that Biden can do another 4 years, a whole other term, and you're looking with your eyes and saying that does not match what I'm seeing with my very own eyes. I want to submit to you that when the folks from the Hispanic communities are suggesting that President Trump is treating them in a manner that is intolerant, bigoted, and even racist, that mindset is going to apply. Just like the liberals could not convince you that they won the election, Biden's cognitive abilities were there, you're not likely going to be able to convince the Hispanic community going forward, probably for at least a generation, that the Republican Party does not possess a hell of a lot of bigotry and racism. Now, is it true? We can argue that. We can debate that. But I'm just simply saying, using the 2020 election and Biden's cognitive abilities, I want to tell you, when you see something with your very own eyes, as you've seen with Biden's cognitive abilities, there's nothing the liberals can tell you to make you think differently. So understand, when the Hispanics are looking at what's going on all over this country, there is nothing you're going to be able to tell them to get them to believe that Trump is anything less than what they see and what they believe as well. So understand that mindset does work in both ways. So we're going to go ahead and start the program as always. I want to ask, do you feel safe with the largest deportation in history underway? Are you feeling like, as I stated, it is safer to walk the streets now that so many criminals are being deported? Do you feel like there's you're just being flooded with jobs in your area since they're not taking black jobs and all that kind of stuff? And of course, do you feel like if you fell flat on your face and needed some sort of government assistance, the government would now be there for you quicker because the immigrants are not taking all the money? That's what we were told. So going straight to the comment section, if you don't like alligator Alcatraz, that is what normal person life like. Wait a minute, what? Thomas V says, if you don't like alligator Alcatraz, that is what normal person life is like in America. Huh? Living in a tent behind a cage? Normal person's life for who? Alligator Alcatraz is just a normal prison. That's how all the prisons in the United States are. Well, first of all, they don't put like 30 or 40 people in the same environment in a normal prison. That's not how it works. You're in a cell. Well, I take it back. In the county jail, they may do something like that. And of course, there are even complaints that it's not done right there either. But you're not outside, are you? And when you go to normal prisons in America, nobody's bragging that you might get eaten by alligators. There's a little bit difference. Tons of jobs here. Tough, low-paying jobs that immigrants used to do, says Susan. Well, as an American, does that make you happy now that those tough, low-paying jobs are available? Do you see a lot of Americans maybe lining up to get them? Gen X, good evening.
Good evening, my brother. How was your weekend?
It was decent. I didn't get involved into too much. But you heard the monitor. Are you feeling safer in America now?
That's kind of an unfair question to ask me because I live in what's called quote-unquote white America. We don't have a lot of Mexicans, a lot of blacks, a lot of Asians. It's all white folks. And I don't think that means that anybody should be safer or not from where they are. But I'm in Montana. And so the answer to your question is yes, absolutely. But I don't feel any more safer than I did, say, 2 years ago when I got it.
So you don't feel any safer under Trump with his tough border policies than you felt under Biden when they said he had open border?
No, but I don't think that's a deciding factor based on my demographic location.
I got to disagree with you, Janice. I think there's a whole lot of Trump voters in your area that voted based on the notion that we were letting in a bunch of rapists and murderers.
Well, yeah, we did, absolutely, and so did I, to be fair. But what we voted for was the areas that weren't quite as safe as where I live, because I want the same thing for all Americans. What I enjoy, I would like to see every American enjoy in Chicago, New York, Miami, LA, Texas, Nolans. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Nolans. Yeah, you said it right. All right, let me go to the second one then. When it comes to they're taking jobs, black jobs, I think Trump said. Do you see any excess in employment in your area? Now that they're being deported in large numbers, has the employment conditions in your area improved greatly?
Again, I don't think that's affected my area. We don't have a whole lot of illegal immigrants. There are some here. I heard about some MS-13 or gangs up north by Flathead, but I think they all got snatched up and deported because we do have ICE in Montana. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it really affected us as much as.
Where is Helena in your state?
What's that?
Helena, is that a city in your state?
Helena, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw a video a couple hours ago of ICE taking the guy off the street in Helena.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, they grabbed some people in Helena. They grabbed some people in Bozeman. They grabbed some people in Billings. I haven't heard anybody here in Zootown. They did grab some people up north in Kalispell. But again, they're very isolated incidents. And if they grab more than 20, I would be shocked.
Mm. So, and last but not least, social programs. Now, if you ever fell on your face and needed EBT or housing assistance or whatever, now that these immigrants are not taking all of our social programs, do you feel like the government would be more likely to be there for you now?
To answer the first part of your question, no, I don't think the government would be more likely to be there for me because, yes, I have fallen on my face before. Years ago when I was married, my wife and I, we had just moved from Montana to Oregon, and we were doing bad. Mm-hmm. We were doing bad. We didn't have a place to live. We were living in a hotel, trying to find housing. She was going to college. I had just come off 3 heart attacks in a row, so I was kind of disabled. And we applied for government assistance, and we couldn't get it. We had a little too much money in our savings, and all we had was about $8,000 back then.
So you don't.
About $8,000 and no kids and no debt, and they were like, "You don't qualify." And I was like, "Dude, we need fucking help."
No, you do realize the party you're voting for believes in pull yourself up by your bootstraps. They're not a big fan of doing what you needed.
And you know what? I'm grateful for that, and here's why. Because that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. Instead of crying and feeling sorry for ourselves, my ex-wife and I, we had $8,000 in the bank. We made it work. We found a place to live. She went to school. I got a part-time job, even though I wasn't supposed to work, and shit worked itself out. We literally pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, and we made it.
So let me make sure I'm getting this clear. You're saying that you are grateful that when you were flat on your face and needed your government to help you, you're grateful that they told you no.
Yes, and the reason I say that, hear me out, is because I did have the resources, or we did have the resources to come back up. Do I think that was optimal? No, because at the time, I felt like we really needed help. But we were able to manage and get back on track and get back online, and shit worked out.
I don't know. You think that your path could, I mean, because they're going to tell everybody no. You think everybody would likely turn out like you?
No.
Okay. So you don't, so in other words, based on the 3 things I've listed, feeling safe when they're getting rid of bad hombres, American jobs when they're getting rid of the folks that are doing our jobs, and even the social. So you making it sound like by deporting all these folks, it really is not improving any condition.
In my area, no, but I do think it's improving American conditions in other areas that are affected by this mass immigration, illegal immigration. Sure.
Yeah, but you mentioned, when you said areas, you started mentioning liberal cities like sanctuary areas. You said, I want them to have what's good for everybody. It sounds like the only areas that's improving are the areas that don't agree with what you're doing. They're flying with the people.
What areas are improving?
I'm not aware of any of them, but you did mention sanctuary cities.
I don't completely understand the question you're asking me.
Okay. The question I'm asking is, Trump mentioned that by getting rid of these people, you would be getting rid of bad hombres that are harming people in this country. You would be getting rid of folks that are working under the table and undercutting U.S. salaries. And you would also be getting rid of folks that are using our entitlements and taking resources from Americans. And we went down the laundry list, and I'm asking you, where in the country, because certainly in your area, none of that happening to you. Where is that happening?
Well, again, using my area is not fair because we don't have a lot of illegal immigrants. As far as what's happening in other cities, Tim, I could pull something out of my ass just to argue with you, but that would be unfair too because I don't know, brother. I don't know. I'm not there.
Well, let's be.
I don't see the news. I don't see the statistics.
Yeah. Well, let's be clear. When it comes to getting entitlements or getting social programs, a lot of that's federal. So just because it's not in your area, it's coming out of the same pot, if I'm correct. If you get an EBT or SNAP, that's federal money. So that's the same money they're going to use in Chicago or they're going to use in Montana. So, I mean, if they're claiming that these folks are taking a bunch of federal assistance money, then it should be extra money in your area.
Not necessarily, because a lot of us here in this area don't get those funds. What I will say is this: if people in other areas, like where you're at, Chicago, New York, different cities, even liberal cities, if they're giving that money to people who are not as well off as, say, the middle class American, I'm all for that, especially if they're giving them more funds because they're withholding them from people that shouldn't be here.
So you favorite programs like Obamacare?
I favor programs like what?
The Affordable Care Act that Obama passed.
I'm on the fence with that, but I do think that people who are having a hard time should be helped. If they're legitimately having a hard time, well, people that are able-bodied to work, if you're able-bodied to do for yourself, but you need a little help, give them the help. If you're able-bodied, if you have a 2-adult household, and you motherfuckers can go out to 2 different jobs, and you're both drawing from the system, no, I don't think they should get it. Absolutely not.
All right, fair enough. I don't know. To me, if I'm going to scam the system, it's going to be for some cash. I mean, if a person is trying to get health care, chances are they need that health care. I mean, if that ain't the last, that to me, that just doesn't seem like the thing I would be trying to scam the system for. I want to scam the system so that I can put some money in my pocket. You know, a person who's trying to get health care probably needs health care.
Well, the problem is if they're scamming for health care or extra cash, I forgot what it's like, TANF or some shit like that, then they should not get that shit and they shouldn't be eligible for it. But if there are people that truly need it, let's say a mother who's got 2 young children and a newborn, and she physically can't go out and work, absolutely. She should get health care for her kids. She should get money to live on, rent assistance, because she is.
Yeah, but in
all actuality, she's disabled. She should get help.
Gen X, you already know what your party's going to say. A woman with that many kids, she's only having kids to get more welfare. That's what your side is going to say. That she's popping out babies to get more assistance.
I would agree with that. What I would not agree with, hold on. What I would not agree with, that even if that's what she's doing, she is not entitled to some help as an American because she is an American, and the facts are she does need help.
So if she is...
Now, how we stop that's a whole nother conversation.
If she got 4 baby daddies and she keep having kids, you're saying you agree to help her. Is that what I'm hearing?
If she can't take care of those children, yes. If she can't take care of herself, fuck her. But if she can't take care of those kids, absolutely.
So you gonna give...
The children did not make the mistake to do the things that she does, and they shouldn't suffer for it.
So you're gonna give the kids assistance, but nothing for the mom?
Let her chew on fucking KFC chicken bones in a dumpster. Fuck her.
And you expecting a decent mom by doing that. You're expecting a mom that's going to be reliable to her kids by doing something like that.
Well, if she's already doing that, she's already not a decent mom.
All right. I do get it moving on, but I do want to ask you, did you hear that they're planning on building more alligator Alcatraz type facilities throughout probably the South? They're talking to other Republican governors, but they're talking about as many as 5 more of these things are in the works.
Build them all around the coast. I'm all for it. Build them from Florida to fucking Texas and all around the coast in every swamp, alligator infested alley they have. Build them, baby, build them.
Do you want them to be eaten by these animals?
Do I want them to be eaten by the animals?
Yeah.
Yes. Do I think Trump does? No.
Why do you want human beings to be eaten by alligators?
Because if you're here illegally and you're a criminal and you victimize my culture and society and you're dumb enough, we gave you a chance to deport you back to where you're from and you choose to stay a criminal and crawl out of your fucking cage, then if you get eaten, that's on you.
So you believe that death should be on the table for doing that?
Yeah. If they're that stupid, fuck yeah, then we don't have to deal with them a second time.
Okay. All right, Gen X. As always, it's good talking to you. You drive a hard bargain. Damn, you really started the show off for the first caller. Thanks for coming through, man.
Have a good night, brother. Always appreciate talking to you.
Anytime. Wow, that was I see in the comments. Wow, that was interesting. Anyway, looking in the comments, and as I always say, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So you're gonna get, what do I say, left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having a dinner with Q. Ed G, thank you for the super chat. Ed started out by saying, one thing I do know is crime in America by those illegals deported is down 100%. Okay, so in other words, there's not necessarily any drop in crime in America. It's just we know that the person that got deported can't commit any crime. That's a different way of looking at it. But he says, yes, my local Walmart and Costco and restaurants, even taco trucks, are hiring in California. Wow. Okay, so there is one area where he's suggesting that in California, due to the excessive amount of deportation, there are jobs start. I don't know how many Americans want to work on a taco truck, but Walmart and Costco, we can certainly talk about that. I see Michael says dumbest shit ever. All right, tap the screen, by the way. Smartest shit ever. Tap the screen. Help your boy out with the algorithm. Get the likes on up to about 20,000. If you will. If you're watching on YouTube or Clapper, feel free to give your boy a follow and smash that like button. America's rich enough food stamps for people that need it. Well, the unfortunate truth is a lot of wealthy people do not like to share. So, I mean, what is happening right now? A bunch of tax cuts for rich people. Rich people don't like to share. So, some of the same folks that are saying that, these programs should not be available for the poor, or that they're fighting against universal health care or a minimum wage increase. A lot of folks that are fighting against that stuff are rich or in the 1%. They don't, just because they have money don't mean they're going to share it. What did I say? You filming out of a potato. I don't know if there's something wrong with my Wi-Fi on this particular device, because all the rest of them are working. And maybe I'm gonna need to end up switching devices over here on YouTube. In welfare, child support, and alimony, and families will stay together like they used to for the children. The children come first always. There is some validity to Robert Kennedy said, good call. There is some validity to that, but I don't know if that's totally a good thing. Now, his statement, Paul, I can't pronounce the last name, he said, end welfare, child support, and alimony, and families will stay together like they used to for the children. Well, here's the problem. You just heard my last caller who pulled himself up by his bootstraps, made it clear he was with his spouse, and they were still suffering. So at the time, they did stay together. So ending welfare would not have had any effect on them other than to make their life harder. They needed help. But I do get what you're saying, is that people do use some of these programs as a measure to break up. We know that, trying to have a baby, for instance, by a wealthy guy or just child support in general can break up relationships because you're throwing a money aspect in. The same thing with alimony. You've made it so that if the person can leave you and take half of your income, there's not a lot of incentive to work on staying with you. There are some people who are actually doing better off, who are doing better financially by leaving their spouse than staying with them. So I don't totally disagree with you. I don't totally disagree with you. Those programs can break up relationships because you now give them money to fight over. So, well, I'll say it's well taken. I mean, I don't totally agree with Indian welfare for that matter, but I do agree with what you're saying to some degree. Alligator Alcatraz is due process. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on. And someone said, what? I will go to Mike. Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the program. I saw you in the comments. What did I say that might have been confusing?
What the? Well, first of all, it's 122 people. Tap the screen, share the lives, get Tim up to about 25,000 likes in here. Tim, social programs don't decrease the relationships as far as whether people stay together.
Yeah, well, let me tell you why I said that. First of all, with welfare, people often bring up that when they started welfare originally, they wouldn't give it to a family if the man was still in the home. They had this notion that men should always be able to find a job. So if a woman applied for welfare and her husband or boyfriend was in the house, they didn't want to give it to her. So that incentivized people to break up. You're gonna have to move for me to be able to get some money to feed the kid. That's one thing. I know you gotta agree that. Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening. So you think that the welfare program was incentivizing healthy relationships to healthy people and healthy relationships to break up?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. If I'm with my spouse, let's say I got a woman and we got a baby together, and I fell flat on my face. I can't get a job, and I've been putting in applications. I cannot find a job anywhere. Baby crying, the baby need formula and shit. We go down and they say, unfortunately, we cannot give you guys any assistance as long as you got an intact household. I would tell her, look, for the sake of feeding this kid, I'll go live in a fucking car, or I'll go back home with my mom or whatever. I mean, yeah, it would incentivize me to break it up to make sure she could get some help for our shorty. Yeah, it would.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way, though, Tim. The system doesn't work that way. It does not. Well, by the way, I don't know. Just a disclaimer. My father, and I spent damn near days, worked for welfare fraud for 35 years. So it does not work that way.
So they don't penalize families if a man is in the house.
Well, they give you an opportunity to go get employment. They'll actually help that man.
But that's what I'm saying. What if your guy cannot get employment?
Right. Well, again, they'll still get assistance. They'll just have to pay it back.
I mean, so that is penalizing them, though. If the mom and the kid get assistance, they don't have to pay it back. If dad is in the house, suddenly they got a debt now.
But the dad, even if he's not in the house, she has to declare him unless she's gonna commit fraud and say she doesn't know who he is. So if she gets assistance and says, this is how it works. When she goes down there and gets assistance for herself and her children, she has to declare who the father is, Tim.
And that, you know something, that in itself is also fucked up. Mom goes down and requests some type of assistance, they automatically go after the dad to pay the money back, as if dad can't be broke. I mean, if the family is separated and the mom and the kid get assistance, I mean, say mom goes out and goes to nursing school or something better, why does he have to pay back what they used to eat and survive? I mean, he may have not been doing well either.
Because those are his kids. I'm not saying the system is right. Because here's the thing, Tim. I have personally sat and watched. I think my dad was there for 35 years. I probably spent a total of a couple of years total going to my dad's office, having lunch, talking to him, watching them interview people, watching people cheat the system, and it wasn't us. Like people walking in, because you got to remember, when you go to apply for welfare, if you don't have it, you still get it, whether you have a social security number or not.
That's what the right is complaining about. But in regards to your comment about because those are his kids, so you somewhere else suffering, maybe living in a garage somewhere, your girlfriend and the baby are getting welfare, and all of a sudden they coming after you and telling you because those are your kids as if it ain't her kid too. So now you got to pay back the welfare that the kid received and the mom was eating off of. You ain't even with her, so you paying her. You paying them because she eating off of that too. They making you cover that family even though y'all ain't together.
And again, she might be eating off of it, but the funds aren't intended for her.
They intended for you. They intended for both of you's child. The child ain't just yours; it's hers too. Why the hell are they only coming after you?
I understand. And again, so it goes back to my point, and then we can go back to those top 3 topics. Whether the family dynamic is solvent or not, you're not benefiting, because if it's not, and he's still not working and you're not together, he's still going to have a tab at the end of the day. That's my whole point, Tim.
Yeah.
The motivation isn't, well, he can't get work, so we're going to break up to get assistance. Because if the relationship is solvent, you continue to work to keep it together. It's not.
I've heard a lot of folks suggest. But before we continue, somebody in the comments, AC said he has to help support his kid. No, he's the only one supporting it. If she gets welfare for her and the kid, and they give him the whole tab, that means she is not supporting the kid at all. She's at home receiving food stamps for the kid that she is likely eating off of, and they expect him to pay all of that back. So that means she ain't taking care of the kid at all.
Well, it depends on when she applies. It depends on what she says.
Yeah.
It depends on what she says, because that'll determine how much she's going to get, thereby how much she's supposed to pay of that.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, and again, I've watched it before, so I mean, this is we can have a whole live about this, but back to your 3 questions, though.
Yeah.
Because
okay, let's go with number 1. Now that he's getting rid of bad hombres, do you feel like in your area, do you feel safer walking American streets in your area? Now that all the bad hombres are being deported, border crossings are down 95%. Do you feel safer in America now that we're getting these folks out?
No. Because I never felt unsafe because of this particular demographic of people. That's why it's always been bullshit. And the numbers, and by the way, the numbers don't suggest what you said. The numbers. Have you gone out to the CDP.org website?
No.
Yeah, so if you go out to the website and they've got year-to-date totals, the year-to-date totals on crime statistics for undocumented immigrants are not far off than our normal numbers. The irony in the numbers, because their math doesn't math. There's not a math equation that you could put together to make sense of their claims.
Oh.
The 11 million, sending us their best, and the murderers. And
well, let's clear the reason Trump's amount of illegal immigrants in this country is so high is because when he was campaigning, giving those numbers of how many people were here illegally, a lot of the folks he was claiming as an illegal immigrant was not here illegally, such as all the TPS, temporary protected status folks, and all the asylum seekers. Them folks were here illegally, but Trump did not want them here, did not agree with Biden's policies on that. So he's calling them illegals, even though, so when he says there's 18, 20 million people here illegally, it's mostly them people.
But some of those people, he extended their status, Tim.
Well, I'm just saying.
Trump did the same thing.
Wow.
Trump did exactly what he's doing now then. He did things in his presidency, so when he left, they would unravel, like the big, beautiful bill, that they'll unravel and make the next administration look like they don't know what they're doing, right? Because the numbers about safety are so, because do we have a total number of people that have been deported?
I might be able to look that up and get at least something that's ongoing. By the way, Anna on Clapper, let me know what the question is. You said you had a question. I don't, something. I mean, obviously the number would be changing constantly, Mike, but I don't. And then again, I will say this also. Look, maybe my MAGA audience is not going to like when I say this, but I'm not trusting any of the information coming from ICE on this shit. I'm just not trusting them right now.
Of course not. And the person that said they're in California and they're safer and they're saying for higher signs on food trucks. Guess what? Keep checking those. Keep checking. You'll probably see that sign if it's in fact there. You'll probably see it for weeks and weeks and weeks, because they're not being able to hire people because they detained and deported criminals. They've scared the shit out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Is that a lot of these job openings are not in regards to you actually deporting people. It's in regards to people just running and staying their home. So the person might be still in the country. They just ain't at work.
Well, here's the thing. I know just by some reports that are out there. Well, we know that U.S. citizens are being detained. We know that people are being deported illegally or being detained illegally because we've got enough evidence to show that they're doing this shit ass backwards. So it's not like anything. It's so funny. I want to take a step back real quick. I sat here and listened to Gen X talk about all the shit that he was spouting before the election, and ironically, none of it impacts his personal life. Did you pay attention?
I actually believe that applies to most MAGA. I think the overwhelming majority of MAGA do not live in areas that these issues that pertain to immigrants are. I mean, obviously throughout the Bible Belt, most of them areas they're not dealing with an influx of criminal illegal aliens and taking their. I think that applies to probably most MAGA.
Yeah, and so with Gen X and Jeremy's and Julio's, because the one thing they never do is they never come with numbers and sources. And I've been telling you that the entire time. And because they don't, they're only just regurgitating the talking points. Because if they would have done some research, they would have known that the numbers they were told were never real, right? They were never millions and millions of rapists and murderers coming to the country. That was never a real thing. You can't point to a number where you can say in this country that undocumented migrants or even documented migrants, you can look at all the crime stats, but what they don't tell you about the crime stats are who are their victims, right? Because you can't tell me that Jeremy and Gen X give a shit if they're harming each other, right? They don't give a fuck if they're harming each other. So if you go back and look at the numbers and see who have their victims been, it's even a smaller number of victims that are being impacted by immigration. That's what I'm saying, Tim. They're not doing any research. They're just voting for harm. And he just said it. I don't give a fuck if they get eaten or not. I don't really give a shit, right?
Yeah. Well, Gen X might. Do you think Gen X is just saying that though? Or do you believe he really believes that?
Is he a member of the Proud Boys?
Yeah. He says he is.
Aren't they based in white supremacy? They don't care who they hurt.
Well, in defense of the Proud Boys, they denied that they're based in white supremacy.
And so did the Triple K.
That is true.
Okay, so
that is true.
So what was the second question?
Second question is American jobs. Now that we're deporting all these folks that are, lowering. And before you continue, Angie says he says, like Dave Chappelle said, if you can unalive a kid, I should be allowed to abandon it. Pretty sure unaliving is worse.
I know what he's talking.
And I agree with that. I actually agree with that.
I knew you would.
But hold on. Not only do I agree with it from a standpoint of a woman can actually terminate the life of a child, that's okay. But if the guy just doesn't walk off and pay child support, not only, but she can also drop it off at a safe haven. There's all kinds of options for a woman to have unprotected sex and to get out of her responsibilities. But for a man, I don't care if you're a heroin addict, you got PTSD after serving, they always expect to do it. No job, whatever. You better find a way to take care of your responsibility. But a chick can say, look, I don't have any money right now, or I got pregnant at 15. They don't care if the dude is 12. They'll take his paper route money. They just don't give a fuck about dudes on that. I agree with him.
And listen, and this is a whole other discussion. The way the system is set up in the history of men not taking care of their children unless if they have a court order is relevant, or it wouldn't be there. It wouldn't be there. Right? It's not like a new thing. I mean, if men were taking care of their children, then it wouldn't be a thing. But it does go both ways. But it does.
Right. I mean, if we're gonna, go ahead.
It goes both ways. No, it goes both ways.
Okay, here's your numbers, by the way. I'm on ICE.gov's. It's ICE.gov/statistics. They list deportations at 1.141047. So that's this year. 1,147,000. That's detentions though. That's detentions.
So 1 million so far.
Yeah, removals, which is actual kicking people out, 616,657. So 616,000 have been kicked out. That's removals. and I think they have they got T42 expulsions. I don't know what T42 is. Is that temporary protected status?
Title
T40.
42.
Okay,
Title 42.
well that's people getting kicked out. They call it expulsions. 149,347 is on that. And they even got the countries. Biggest countries: Guatemala, Honduras is in second place, Mexico, Colombia,
Of course.
yeah, Haiti. And by the way,
No, keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep reading.
oh, continuing on. This is like I said. This is on ice.gov/statistics. Snapshot of ATP. I don't know what that means. I'm not even going to read that number because I don't know what that means. And that's it. That's what they cover so far. So it's
Yeah,
on.
but so those were all the countries.
Oh no! You wanted me
That's
to
what
keep
I'm
reading.
talking about.
Okay, let me go back to the countries. It's only 6 or 7 countries that really. It's a bar graph. It's only about 6 or 7 countries that really register of anything significant. Guatemala,
I can see it in your background. What's them little bitty ones down there?
El Salvador, Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua.
So, do you think, matter of fact, all that graph does is prove our point. You've got a graph behind you. We've got overstayed visas. We're from a lot of European countries up there. There's not even a fucking spot for them. Everything up there is brown, right?
Yeah, and there's not one year.
Okay.
Everything is south of the border except Haiti is not technically south of the but everything else is south of the border. In Dominican
I
Republic.
don't trust their numbers. Now, I don't trust their numbers, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
I don't trust anything that's coming from them. But see, sometimes in their a broken watch is right twice a day. In their haste to show these numbers, they show their racism.
Ooh.
Because if you look at the numbers, we have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of overstayed visas.
Yeah. It's brown countries. I wish I could argue with you, but it's all brown. It's all
So let me
brown.
ask you this. So this is fiscal year. So this is 2025. I'm on CBP.gov right now, looking at the criminal statistics, right, from 2017 to all the way to May of this year. If you go look at the charts, Tim, on the people that are being targeted, the numbers this year so far are on par or higher than they've been historically. So closing down the quote-unquote border and doing all this shit, the numbers don't bear out that there's any difference, right? You're saying so because what they're saying is that of those 600,000 people, all of those people are supposed to be criminals. The worst of the worst.
No, I don't even think Tom Homan. As Tom Homan stated, if you're a criminal and you live with your grandmother and she's here illegally, she's on the table too. No, they're no longer claiming that they're all criminals. I mean, just temporary protected status and things like that. If somebody, I think it would be so obvious that they're lying. Now, MAGA often claim they're all criminals, but they base it on, well, look, if you're in the country on an expired visa or you enter illegally, that's the crime. You're a criminal because of that.
But they're only talking about brown people. They're not talking about black people. I mean, they're not talking about white folks. They're not talking about any of them. It's just brown people. They're okay with the cruelty because it's not them. It's the black and brown people that Donald Trump has demonized. Where did I say something wrong? They can't even show a stat where, even on that chart behind you, you tell me, you keep looking at that chart and tell me when you see a European country on that stat.
I think they got detentions by country of citizenship, and it gets darker, I guess, as you countries with more detentions. There is plenty of folks they got Russia, but China rather. China is dark, is like not a dark blue like the southern border states, but it's a darker blue, indicating that this is Russia and China. Russia and China are somewhat darker blue. So, obviously those are enemies of the United States, so they probably are targeting them for that reason. But I don't know if there's a lot of Russians over here to begin with. I do believe they're getting the Chinese, though. They are getting, if you're Chinese, you can get it.
And again, listen, I believe that. But again, none of these things. What was the third question? Because I want to make sure I go down.
Yeah, because I got to move it on. But the third question is, are you seeing, if you fall flat on your face, do you believe social programs will be readily available for you now that they're not getting it?
They just cut them. It's not even a conversation. They just fucking cut them. They just cut them. Like last week, they're celebrating the bill that just cut the services. Do you know that of all the states that are going to be harmed the most, the top 7 are all red states: Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Kansas, Iowa, Kentucky. All of these states are going to be harmed the most by the.
You know what I think is going to happen? I think, and I do got to move it on, but you know what's going to happen? It's going to be something similar to how they used to do things in history. Like, for instance, there's a poll tax, but if your grandfather was able to vote, you can vote too. So it excludes certain groups of people. They'll probably end up passing some kind of law where, you know, some kind of Southern entitlement, something that makes it so that the people that they want to get it can fit through. I mean, if you're dealing with agriculture, for instance, or if it pertains to this, they'll come up with a way that you can give federal money to the areas that maybe supported Trump. With Congress is going to go with anything Trump passes. So my guess is they'll get rid of the entitlements, but then they'll create some sort of way so that certain areas can still get it, create some kind of qualification that only pertains to them.
I don't think so at all, Tim.
Really?
White folks don't care about white folks don't care about white folks at large. They definitely don't care about poor white people. And they damn sure don't care about the kids. Mike Johnson is from Louisiana, yes or no?
Yep.
Mike Johnson, who was the deciding vote, Tim?
Him.
So this is his home state that is going to get impacted the most. If I know that, he's got to know that. If I read it and see the stats, he's got to know that. They don't care. They don't give a shit, Tim. Perfect example. Next time when MAGA reacts, and when he said I was lying, I don't know what he said I was lying about in the comments. Did Trump or did he not just turn around and fund Ukraine today?
Yeah. Well, in defense of Trump, he's not funding Ukraine. Norway and Germany, he's actually getting the money for the. He's sending weapons to the Ukraine, but he is getting money from the NATO member states. So he is not doing it.
He's literally, they're sending Ukraine their weapons, and he's backfilling what they send them to them.
But he claims he's getting money for doing it though.
That's what he claims. That's what he claims, because that's the soft spot to make his supporters feel good about the very thing he said he was going to stop in 24 hours, that we should stop funding. They voted on no more. We should stop funding Ukraine and no more. He's not doing anything different than Biden administration.
No, in regards to the Ukrainian thing, he's pretty much flipping, going right back to what Biden was doing. But Mike, I got to move it on. I agree with that 100%, but I don't think it's going to have any effect on MAGA. Thanks for coming through.
Of course not. Of course not.
All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Ed G, where's the list of Americans deported? Wow. They're not going to tell you that. If they deport Americans, it ain't going to appear on there. That's all. You're not going to see a list of Americans deported. That's some shit they'll work out behind the scenes. Callers are biased. He regurgitated Americans being deported with no list. Then he said he wants numbers for proof, but he said he wouldn't believe the numbers anyway. Well, I'm reading the numbers I see here, and I'm going to tell you I don't believe them. I just believe that look, ICE is working for Trump. The whole purpose of why ICE is so gung-ho in doing this is because they're doing Trump's bidding. And I know for a fact when Trump is trying to, like right now, he's trying to beat Obama's numbers. So I know for a fact that when Trump gives you numbers, they're often exaggerated. Crowd size at his inauguration, the height and weight of himself during his mugshots. I mean, Trump is going to exaggerate numbers. Anytime exaggerating numbers works to his benefit. He came on the scene down the Golden Escalator, said he was worth $15 billion. I mean, he exaggerates. I don't think that's up for debate. Numbers coming from Trump are just, they're not trustworthy in my opinion. Trump exaggerates numbers, and ICE is working on behalf of Trump. If Trump goes on his website and don't see numbers that he likes, the numbers may change the next day. Trump has 42 months left in his presidency. Yeah, these numbers will get substantially higher considering that. We'll go back to the box. God knows how many y'all let in, says Johnny. You know, Johnny, you said God knows how many y'all let in regards to immigrants. I'll tell you one thing, God would probably be in favor of that shit. I don't think God would be in favor of building a wall, putting machines that or devices in the water that could drown people, and taking photos and hoping that folks get consumed by alligators. None of that sounds Christian to me, which is one reason why I'm not very Christian anymore, because I just don't. You know, I seen a video floating around on TikTok. By the way, tap the screen. We should be around 30,000. Tap the screen, get the likes up. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. I seen a video floating around on, I believe it was on TikTok, where this guy said, if you really think about the most morally fucked up person you know in your life or in your circle, most likely they identify as a Christian. Now, is that true in your world? I don't know each one of you individually. Is that true in your world? That you think about the person that maybe is mistreated a bunch of women or mistreated a bunch of men or out pulling capers on the street, whatever. He said, chances are, if you think about the most morally fucked up person in your life or in your circle, chances are highly likely they identify as a Christian. Anyway, looking in the comments, my guess is most of the people in prison do. Some Muslims in there, but most of the people in prison do. Hello from the United Kingdom. Cool show I follow. Thank you for that on Instagram. Anna B, you said, how could you please tell me why you are in love with Trump? I'm not. I don't know what makes you say that. That's not true. I'm not in love with Trump. You see the MAGA hat, I suppose. Maybe that's what got her. Then trying to group brown people together. Black people still fighting for our rights, not crack. Well, and that's one of the things, before I go to the next caller, thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Many are suggesting, like I bring up all the time, Black MAGA hasn't went anywhere. Black MAGA is still heavily in the camp for Trump. Black MAGA is happy with their vote. And I've had callers, I've asked some of the folks who claim Trump is racist, I ask them all the time, well, if Trump is racist, why the hell is Black MAGA still so happy? And they often say, well, because Trump isn't chasing them around and treating them like the Hispanics. Well, let's make it clear, folks. Haitians are black, and as of September 2nd, they have to either self-deport by September 2nd or they become fugitives. So the town of Springfield, Ohio should soon feature a hell of a lot of ICE rounding up people that are black. When he removed temporary protected status, he gave them till September 2nd to self-deport. So if you are not out of the country by September 2nd, and that's over 500,000 of them, they estimate. Over 500,000 Haitians that have TPS that was removed. So that's 500,000 Haitians that are now going to instantly become illegal immigrants as of September 2nd. I also want to throw this out there for folks who say he's not going after people, come here legally, just, go through the process. All of them folks came here legally, and now they're all about to be illegal immigrants. So when you see them popping up at Alligator, Alcatraz, or whatever, you're thinking, hey, it's only illegal immigrants in there. No, they changed the law and made them illegal immigrants. So as of September 2nd, you'll probably see a lot of ICE roaming around Springfield, Ohio. Maybe that'll save a few cats and dogs. What say you? All right, looking in the comments, though, they'll say he cornered them or he conned them. Well, we'll see, Johnny. Going back to the box, we'll continue on with, I don't know what I just hit there, but once again, Michael Richards. Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the program. The Handsome Conservative. What's up, Conservative? Good to have you on. So, Mike, good evening.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing real good. So, I asked a question. Do you feel safer in this country now that Trump is allegedly kicking out so many rapists and murderers? Do you feel safer on the streets of America?
I do not. And it has nothing to do with the immigrants that are here.
Explain.
I'm a black man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a black man. I'm afraid of cops.
Oh.
Okay. And with you being a black man too, you understand where I'm coming from. I'm not afraid of immigrants. Okay. So what? And the other thing with these immigrants are.
Wait a minute. So you're suggesting that as an African American, you feel more at harm when you're in the company of a police officer than, let's say, somebody who entered the country illegally?
I'm more afraid of when I get stopped by a cop than I am if I come across an immigrant.
Wow. What if you walked into, let's say, an establishment like Dunkin' Donuts, and you walked in there, and there was a bunch of Hispanics sitting down at a table eating donuts, and you were told that most of these people here are here illegally, versus walking into a Dunkin' Donuts and there's a bunch of cops in there. Would you feel any different in either one of those environments?
I'm gonna feel if I walk into that Dunkin' Donut place, that when I walk out, a cop might want to ask me for my ID or stop me and question me of what I'm doing, because it happens all the time. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about it.
They talk about it, it just gets dismissed. I mean, there's no time there's no era in U.S. history whereas African Americans were not complaining about the cops and whites were saying, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But they do talk about it, it just gets dismissed.
It does. I mean, I haven't had any problems with immigrants, and from what I've seen, they contributed. The ones that were working, they contributed, paid taxes into Social Security, and they can't collect none of that stuff.
Well,
and I think it was in.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Did you know that?
Yeah, I'm aware that if you're working under the table or you using somebody else's ID, they're taking taxes out of your check that you're not going to be the file to get back. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Exactly. So, again, I'm not so much as worried about them, as a lot of people are.
Okay, well, as an African American, what about the notion that these people are working under the table, reducing lowering salaries across the board because they'll work for less and taking black jobs? Do you feel like that your job or jobs in your area may be under threat due to these people?
No, I don't. I ain't never had no problem getting a job. Mm-hmm. I worked on one job for 34 years, never had to worry about it. Almost every job that I applied for, I've gotten. Of course, there were some that I didn't. Mm-hmm. There were jobs most of the jobs I applied for, I got. So no, I'm not worried about nobody taking my job.
So, I mean, Trump is deporting hundreds, if not thousands, of immigrants per day. Do you believe it's doing is it doing any good for America at all, in your opinion?
In some yes, to some degree.
Explain.
To some degree, yes. But think about it. Think about this. Who's going to take those jobs that those people are doing?
Well, if it's a black job, I guess you and I.
well, okay, take those agricultural jobs.
Yes.
Who's doing those jobs once those people leave?
You know something, other than maybe being able to get a few kids over the... I mean, because there are TikTok videos of these people doing these jobs, and I'm like, shit, my back could not stay bent up and down that long. I could do it maybe about 20 minutes, and I'm ready to be done. I mean, they're chasing trucks, throwing cabbage on the truck, bending over and all. I mean, there's no way in hell I'm going to do that. I don't know. You'd have to soften up the American public. Because, I assume if you go back in the 1800s or whatever, we used to work hard like that too. So you would have to soften up the American public and get them back to getting used to doing really hard work that we've kind of progressed from.
That's called education and trade, Tim. I saw a guy lifting watermelons. Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's no way I can do that. Yeah. Even when I was in my 20s. I'm not doing that.
I could do it, but I could do it in my 20s, but I wouldn't want to. I mean, not to mention, not only are you doing really hard work, they ain't paying you shit.
But that's the problem, Tim. Yeah, you're right. I could do it. I have done hard labor jobs, but they not going to pay. You can't pay me enough to go out there and do that. You're not going to pay me what I work to go out and do that job. Yeah. And benefits. Yeah,
I used to work for United Parcel Service as an unloader when I was in college, back when I was like 19, 20. I get you to unload like 2,000 packages per hour onto the conveyor belt. I mean, so I was doing and I was hurting coming home. I mean, even at a young age, I was feeling that in various muscles. But I mean, they weren't paying a little bit better than you picking cabbage on the fucking field somewhere.
That's why I retired from, Tim.
Oh.
I started off loading trucks.
Yep. So then you understand. That's hard work. The unloaders, the sorters, and the loaders. That's hard work. Yeah.
I used to come home drenched
Yep.
from head to toe. But I worked my way up because I'm like, I can't be loading no trucks for the next 30 years. This ain't gonna happen. So I got out of that, but I did it for about 3 years, you know. So, yeah, I'm not afraid of hard work, man. But my take on this is totally different, man. I just don't believe the reason why nobody's going to go and do those jobs. You can't afford to pay Americans. You can't afford to pay us and benefits.
Well, but wait a minute. Right? When there was a time when we didn't have an illegal immigration problem in this country, and there was still cabbage and berries and fruits available, so it had to be Americans doing it back then. Probably was us getting paid like that.
When was that?
I mean, like, if you think about, like, during the Jim Crow era, that stuff was still getting picked. It was probably us doing it at the same rate they're making now.
That's true. It was us.
Yeah.
It was because we weren't, and at that time, Tim, we weren't given other jobs. We took what was given.
Well, you might be headed back there. Hence the term black jobs. That might be part of making us great.
Well, not me. Everybody in my house we highly educated people, so that's not a job we doing. Me or my kids, we not.
Well, if you kick out the people that's doing it, I mean, I know I'm being sarcastic and a little humorous here, but fact is, if you kick out the people that's currently doing it, somebody has to do it. Because I see in the comments, Johnny's like, well, come on, Tim. Fact is, you see those people doing those hard jobs. If you're kicking those people out, you still need to eat. Somebody's got to do it. So, yeah, my guess is it's going to be folks on the lower end of the socioeconomic scale, and it probably will be people of color.
In that aspect, yeah, on the lower socioeconomic, yeah, you will see some, but I don't think it's going to be enough. You will see some, especially if they start taking the benefits away, the SNAP and the Section 8 and that kind of stuff. You will see some, but I don't think it's going to be enough to help those forms. Yeah,
and in the comments, Dinkow, you see automation. I don't know if all of that stuff can be replaced by automation, and in some cases, because of what they're paying the immigrant, it's probably cheaper still to use human labor than the machines. I mean, there's a reason why they haven't went to automation. Because if they go to automation and it costs more, then they're still going to raise up the price of it. But I don't think all of the stuff they're doing can be replaced by. It's like sometimes when you're picking fruit, you got to know if it's the right quality. And I don't know if automation can do all the stuff they're doing. At least not yet.
Well, I can't speak for agriculture, but I can speak for UPS. Automation is coming in. It's already taken over. So where it used to be four people that touch a package, an unloader, a sorter, a pick-off, and a loader. 2 of those jobs are already gone. They can't eliminate the drivers yet, but it's happening in UPS. It's coming. And I've seen it firsthand in UPS. They got a hub in Chicago.
That's where I was.
Yeah,
Roosevelt.
It's mostly automated.
Roosevelt down there is mostly automated?
Not the one downtown.
Okay.
You're talking about the one downtown.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where I worked at.
Not that one. No, not that one. They got one out in the burbs. I forgot where it is.
Burbank.
But it's 4 football fields can fit inside of it.
Damn.
It's mostly automated.
Wow.
Where, like I said, where before 4 people were touching a package, now it's down to 2.
Yeah, but none of that. Them ain't Hispanic jobs to begin with. Them was regular folks doing those jobs. Because working for UPS can be a career job. I'm talking about working out in the farm picking berries and shit. I mean, that's a little different.
To be honest, Tim, I don't know how that's gonna work out, but like you said earlier, and I agree to that. It's gonna be some on the lower social economic part of this, but I just don't think it's gonna be enough. You're gonna get enough people out there.
Well, you know how you can make that happen is, okay, the only reason the Hispanics are doing it is because they're in a state of financial generation. That's why they come over here and do those low jobs. Because once they're on second and third generation, they don't do them either. So it's the people willing to do it out of desperation. The way you get Americans, maybe black jobs, the way you get people to do it is you got to put Americans in a state of desperation. If there's no SNAP, there's no jobs for you, things like that, the more harder it is on you, the more you'll start saying, well, shit, if this is what I got to do to survive, I don't like it, but I'll do it. So maybe the goal, if you get rid of enough entitlements and things like that, the goal is to put maybe more Americans in a state of desperation.
But I'm glad you brought that up. But the majority of people on SNAP are what? Caucasians.
They're Caucasian, yeah.
So the majority of the people that's on those benefits are Caucasians.
I mean,
therefore, they the main ones screaming, and that lower socioeconomic area right there, they gonna have to go too.
I mean, very possible, but I mean, you know, if you wanted to get rid of the Hispanics, I mean, this is part of it. You want jobs back in America? Well, you got it. You just got to do a job you don't like. I got to move it on, but that could happen because you're right. There's certainly far more Caucasian folks that are receiving, entitlements and things like that. I mean, it's the idea that the welfare queens, the black folks are the ones. No, it's so many areas in this country that do not even have black folks. I'll give you the last word, though.
Take the South. Look at the South. Look at those rural areas.
Yeah.
A lot of black people live in the South, but think about it. They gonna have to go too. Hey, I really enjoy your program, man. This is my first time on. Hopefully not my last.
Appreciate it. Don't be a stranger. Come on through anytime, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
All right. Holla. Moving on with the program. Someone said hello I saw that United Kingdom. Wow. Thank you for that follow, by the way, on Clapper. I got to figure out how to, my audience on Clapper, I don't know. I got to figure out how to, to what's the algorithm or whatever on Clapper, because the numbers I have on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, I don't know, Clapper stays pretty damn low, so I had to figure it out. FYI, most immigrants pay taxes but can't claim the credits like the earned income tax credit or the child tax credit. They can only claim a return for tax overpayment. Yeah, I've heard that from many people. We'll see what happens. My guess is that Trump will be hounded by some of his donors and things like that. That a lot of people who own rural America is primarily MAGA. It's certainly Republican, and there's the farms and all of that stuff. Most of them folks voted for Trump, and now he's costing them their workers. The tariffs are costing them places where they could send their soybean and stuff like that. They're probably going to be begging him to at least relax some of his tough immigration stances. You've already heard him saying things like, well, some of the folks that were hardworking hotel workers and construction workers, and he don't want to do it. It's pretty clear he wants to get all these folks out of here. But a lot of folks that are helping him or that voted for him or donated money to him, he's hurting people. He's hurting people that are MAGA. A lot of these businesses and stuff like that are MAGA. So you can tell in his rhetoric, his conversation, that changes today about this stuff, that he is receiving pressure, not coming from the liberals. He don't give a shit what the liberals say, but he's clearly getting pressure from folks in his own party. Like, you deporting my people. I need them back. So he's getting pressure from it. Dencal, somebody said because he's biracial. What does that say? Thinks he's special because he's biracial. What the hell was that, Mike? Good evening, Dencal. How you doing, man?
All right.
How you feel? You feeling safe now that we're getting these bad hombres out of the country? Are you feeling safer?
No, I mean, I never felt, threatened when they were here. So I don't have a feeling on whether it's safer. When I turn on the news, I still see, people, killing their kids, and I still see them doing all the same shit Americans do. I mean, they still shutting up schools and.
Yeah, in fact, they just had a couple people get popped in a church down in Kentucky. I don't think that was Jose. Yeah, that wasn't Jose. So
we doing what we do now. So
yeah.
I don't know exactly which crimes have so suddenly reduced.
I don't know either, but that was the big argument is that Mexico wasn't sending us their best and brightest. They were sending us the rapists and murders and things like that. And then you tack on the fact that he said there's 18 million illegals in this country. If you get rid of 18 million people and there's a large amount of rapists and murderers in that group, you should see a significant crime drop, at least in some areas in this country. And I'm trying to find out, with so many being deported every day, where are the drops in crime? It's got to be happening somewhere, right?
They've done the studies. They've went. The Congress people have went to these detention camps and stuff. They've done studies and they've all come back and said around 65 to 70% of these people have no criminal background. They said the ones at the Alligator Alcatraz, they said it was separated at like 3 groups, and they wear different color armbands. It's like yellow, orange, and something else. And they like the lowest group of people are the ones who got minor infractions. Like they got people on there for like traffic violations,
And they sent them like to that?
Yes.
God.
Yes, they are at, yeah. They got some of them people, because some of those guys in there, they got lawyers because, their families,
right.
When they got scooped up, they got lawyers. So they know that some of these people literally have, like I said, like traffic violations, you know what I'm saying? Like, run and stop or some shit.
So they basically, man, I mean, you're basically sending somebody to what amounts to almost like a maximum security facility over a moving violation?
Violation, man, even though we got laws in this country against cruel and unusual punishment, and that your punishment should fit the crime.
Well, one of the things I'm kind of wondering, because I'm thinking once Trump is out of office, we may have to pass some kind of law that prevents victims from becoming whole. In other words, I personally believe there are going to be so many Americans, so many humans in general, that have legitimate lawsuits against the U.S. government that if we had to pay them all, we would go bankrupt. I mean, obviously, people are being hurt by what's going on. People are being wrongfully stopped, profiled, deported. I mean, people have been fired from their jobs without cause in the federal government. I think there's so many people being hurt that if, let's say you get a Democrat in office that even sympathizes with them, they're going to probably have to pass a law that says we can't pay all of you guys back. I mean, what happened to you is terrible. They would literally bankrupt the government. There's so many people that's been ruined by this stuff.
Right. I mean, they're dealing with a similar situation with the latest Supreme Court ruling that these judges can't do injunctions. They can't do countrywide injunctions. It only applies to the people in their specific location.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's happening is that when something happens, all of these different people around the country are not going to be filing lawsuits. In every single district, there's going to be a lawsuit to target their particular, their population.
Wow.
So the court's about to be inundated with all of these cases for the same thing.
Well, I mean, maybe before Trump leaves, he can just, appoint more judges and just go through speedy denials and just throw their shit out. I mean, I'm just simply saying we can't. I mean, there's, Elon Musk alone, when he sent out all those letters suggesting that federal employees were being fired for performance stuff, and they never had a performance review in their entire career or any time. I mean, those folks would have a legitimate case that they were fired, they were wrongfully terminated. They would all have lawsuits and back pay and all kinds of other shit. And a liberal would certainly sympathize with them. But, like I said, the U.S. government to pay all these people. I mean, because they're still firing people. They're still doing it.
Right. And look, like I do, Trump is not about to spend a dime on an extra judge. He don't like the ones that's out there. He don't like the ones that's out there. He's not about to hire a bunch of judges that might rule against what he believes anyway. So
and that speaks, and that's not wanting to spend an extra dime on a judge. That speaks volumes against the claim of we don't mind you coming here, just come legally. We already know the system for coming here legally is jacked. It needs to be reformed. If you didn't put no money in the big beautiful bill towards doing that, it's pretty clear you don't want people to come here legally. You're going to focus on deporting people, but he literally did nothing to better the system so that you can come here legally and it don't take 10, 15 years. He didn't do anything for that.
All right, and it's even worse how, was it Pam Bondi yesterday over this weekend fired the top ethics person after she's going through all of this stuff about Epstein. She fires the top ethics lawyer in the government who's supposed to be advising her on ethics.
I'm surprised. I mean, they have made it used to be one of those things, if you got your hands on a city job, certainly for African Americans in particular, but you get yourself a city job you normally set for life, or a job with the state or a job with the federal government, they have greatly reduced the quality of federal jobs. I mean, getting a job for the U.S. government ain't shit no more. That ain't saying that you work for the U.S. government, your ass might be fired tomorrow. That ain't saying shit no more. I mean, they have really, the morale among them got to be really low.
Yeah, and just like 1,300, Supreme Court paved the way for his 1,300 State Department people. Like, those are the people who are supposed to be engaging in direct, we call it back channel, but dealing with other governments and government agencies and figuring stuff, because the president, he can't figure out all of this stuff by itself. It's just too much stuff going on from day to day. You got to have people behind the scenes that are negotiating and talking on your behalf. And it's one thing for him to try to make them all say what he wants to say, but to just get rid of them totally and make all the decisions go all the way up to him is kind of crazy. And it's not going to work out well. And I keep saying
that's what he's trying to do, though.
I said it earlier. People just haven't seen the stuff affect them yet. But it's coming.
Yeah, it's
coming.
But as long as it's coming and it hasn't affected anybody yet, it does look like liberal fear mongering, because the liberals were saying, when Trump threatened the tariffs, for July 4th, people were going to be pissed off because, the price of groceries and ribs and things you might cook on July 4th were going to be sky high. And of course, he rolled back the tariffs and that didn't happen. So right now, it looks like a lot of liberal fear mongering.
Well, it can look like what it looks like, but I know because, just being in tune with the financial world, we find out that a lot of those major companies and distribution people, they backlog their stock by months and months.
Right.
Before the tariffs kicked in, because they didn't know if they were going to kick in or not. So they front-loaded all of their orders and stuff. Some people front-loaded orders for a half a year, 8 months. And so when we thought that stuff was going to appear, it didn't appear.
No, I'm just simply...
And right now, we've seen the stock market just say, we don't even care what he's talking about. We just going to keep chugging along, doing our thing. If it hit, it hit. But right now, we're not going to be playing this dance with him.
That's that.
And now he's losing.
Go ahead.
He's losing his power. He's losing his power as far as using the carrot and the stick approach, because they've given him this name, Taco. Yeah. And it's like, now we're getting to see it. Like, now he's telling Putin, I give you 50 days, you better do something. You know what you
I saw that before I went live, because I was, doing my notes for this show. And I'm like, this motherfucker you've been threatening Putin constantly. Putin has made it overwhelmingly clear he's not going to listen to you. Why are you giving this dude 50 more fucking days? I mean, it's like when I was a landlord. This motherfucker ain't got the rent. How many extensions can you give him? He's not gonna pay you. Putin is not gonna do what Trump wants.
Do you know how many drones and missiles can be launched in 50 days? I mean, what happened to the good old 2 weeks he used to use?
Yeah, right. And not only that, but by him doing that, he's getting Ukrainians killed. They need this shit. I mean, why do you keep giving this man extensions? The guy has proven you want to really say you can end this shit in 24 hours. You went to 6 months. Like, why are you constantly giving this man extensions? He ain't giving you no indication whatsoever that he is going to do what you want in 50 days or whatever. I don't know why he did that.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall and listened to that last conversation that he had, because it came to that conversation is pissed. And I think Putin must have told him, man, you need to go take a long walk on the short pier, because he ain't buying nothing Trump is talking about.
Yeah, Putin is, this is what I tell some folks. They think that, Trump's sanctions are all this other. There are some countries that don't give a damn about U.S. sanctions. They would rather let their citizens starve to death than bow down to the U.S. And I think Russia's one of those countries. Sanctions on Russia is not going to make them act different. Not coming from the U.S.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Right. They've already converted their economy to a war economy. Like they're chugging along because they're using all their manufacturing to build weapons. Yeah. So they've created this economy that works for them. So Trump talking about he's going to put 100% tariff on them in 50 days. Dude, you didn't put not one tariff on them. You have the whole world. Now you want to come say you put 100% tariff on somebody to negotiate with? Yeah. I bet you, they showed some of the people on the
okay, I might
they
be.
Were laughing at you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dick, I got to move it on. We got there's a signal issue. I don't know if it's on my side or whatever. I'm gonna have to move it on, but your transmission is starting to break up. But I do agree. The sanctions on Russia are useless, and it's pretty clear. Now that we're 6 months in on Trump's administration, he was incredibly wrong about Russia. All of the notion that Zelensky started the war and all this stuff. Now that he done made a total 180-degree flip and came back to what Biden is doing, it's pretty clear he was completely wrong on Russia.
Will MAGA admit promise made, promise not kept on that?
Not likely. Didn't count. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. All right, moving on. But yeah, it's pretty clear Trump was wrong on Russia. And also too, just like with the Epstein files, how Trump can open up Pandora's box or create a monster that he can't control because he overpromised on what he was gonna do with Epstein. You got MAGA pissed off that he's like, well, I can't believe you're still talking about Epstein. It's been, the same thing with Russia is that he convinced a lot of folks that Russia was innocent and it was Ukraine and it was flirting with starting NATO, so Russia had a right to attack and all of that. And now, just like with Epstein, he's on the other side of the argument. And just like with Epstein, a lot of MAGA ain't moving that fast. They're like, no, you told us that Zelensky was buying Bugattis and shit for his wife and was squandering money. And now you on the other side with Biden talking about we should help him out. Same thing with the Epstein thing. You told us that Biden was, helping out pedos by not releasing the files. And now you on that side talking about we need to move on. So the problem is he's creating these monsters and then finding out he's having trouble putting them back in the box when he changes his tune. Because a lot of them, you don't make folks fix their palate for steak, and 6 months into your administration, you're talking about you're serving chicken. People have been expecting these steaks you've been promising, and he's not promising. As Denkow said, promises made, promises kept. Not likely. Looking in the comments though, I don't know what happened to the. There we go. Okay, you create the monster, says Sasha. No, I'm serious. If you're campaigning on doing something constantly, like Biden campaigned on forgiving student loans, or he campaigned on, passing the George Floyd Act. Now, in Biden's defense, he did try to do it, and the conservatives stopped him. Whereas in Trump's case, he didn't try to release the Epstein files. He himself is making it sound like it ain't worth doing because the liberals don't have enough power to stop Trump on most of the stuff he wants to do. So Trump ran a campaign on getting this shit out to the people. You got folks holding up binders talking about, I got the files in my hand and shit. And then all of a sudden, boom, no, ain't no files. They don't exist anymore. So you create this monster of people wanting to see the Epstein files. And then when you tell them there's no files, these people ain't gonna believe you because you've been running on this for months. Same thing is now starting to happen with the whole Russian-Ukrainian war. Because you promised you could end it in 24 hours. You promised that you had a good relationship with Putin. You made all these promises, and now, boom, Putin's a bad guy. I got to go back to helping the Ukraine. creating a monster, and then you can't put it back in. Anyway, looking in the comments, thank you for reading my comment and not blocking me, Tim, says Shay. We don't block anybody. Let me go ahead and give the spiel before we go to the next caller. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 60,000. The way the program is ran, the way it's always been ran, even though right now, because Trump is the president, I get more liberal callers, but we started out with more conservative callers when it was Biden's economy. I was constantly critical of Biden's economy. I had a hell of a lot more MAGA viewers then. Now that Trump's in office, it makes no sense to point to negatives of Biden or Kamala Harris. They're irrelevant. So issues with Trump is being mentioned, and of course MAGA don't like that. So the MAGA audience, a lot of them have left, and I get more liberals. But I'll criticize either side if I see it. Nevertheless, the program is always MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one, always will be. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So understand you can be critical of the host or whoever on this program. Nobody's going to censor your comments or try to limit what you have to say because of a disagreement. We're open to everyone. We go left and Bernie Sanders Trump having dinner with Q. You enjoy this kind of program, I implore you to follow. If you're watching on TikTok or Clapper tonight, if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. Fur the Great. Good evening.
What's up, Tim? How you doing?
You know what I say, hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So what do you think? Do you feel safer on the streets of America now that we're getting rid of these bad hombres?
Nah, man. I mean, we've had this talk with me. You know how I am about immigration. I've been telling you from the jump, it's the people that's carrying these flags, wrapped in these hats, and, you know, those are the ones that worry me. I ain't worried about
What do you mean? You said carrying these flags wrapped in these hats. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, wrapped in these MAGA hats and, you know, these Trump tattoos and, you know, all this Make America Great shit. Yeah, those are the ones that worry me.
So you've seen 4 or 5 dudes walking down the street wearing MAGA hats. What would be your analysis? I mean, they walking. Let's say you're out at 9, 10 o'clock at night. 3 or 4 dudes are walking towards you. They got MAGA hats on. Would that have any effect on you at all?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm from the city, so more likely I'm carrying a gas can and I'm in a small fucking town somewhere if that's the case. Because that doesn't happen down in MLK and the area I be in. But
well, it happened to Jesse Small. It happened to Jesse Smollett.
So he said. I didn't believe that shit.
Yeah, he made that shit up, but he did say he's in Chicago at 3 a.m. and motherfuckers walking around in the wintertime with a MAGA hat on. I don't know where that on a freezing night. Your head's gonna be freezing, but he did try to pass that through.
And downtown Effingham probably, but not
right,
downtown Chicago.
Right.
Not at all. But yeah, man, that, you know, I think I tried to come up about a week ago when you kind of hit on this, and I was in a live, man, and they asked this guy, I think he had some kind of temporary or got his green card or some shit, but he was from Africa, and you know, they was kind of fucking with him like, well, you better get ready to pack. And I kid you not, he said, it'll be a dark day in America if I'm ever deported. To my point is that, well, I took it as these deportations are not making us safer. If anything, we're creating more future T's and more enemies that probably didn't need to be created.
I haven't spoke on that quite yet, but what I do believe is that, because, you know, people always wonder when African Americans get pulled over, why do they always got a chip on their shoulders with cops, or why do blacks, you know, if you just complied and then what happened, why do blacks have such a problem with cops? And I always say that historically, the cops were the ones that were used to enforce, you know, whether it's a Karen that don't want a black person in their neighborhood or it's a Jim Crow, the cops are always the ones that's used to enforce all of that bad shit throughout history. And what I often say is, I believe that the relationship that blacks have with cops is starting to be mirrored probably in the Hispanic community. My guess is they're not going to like cops for a while after what they've seen all over TV. I mean, all these folks are doing this stuff while wearing badges. So I would assume that the Hispanic community is going to have a terrible relationship with law enforcement.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's kind of like our community. You know, everybody's not doing bad. You know, so I think they probably had a false sense of security. It's like, well, you know, I'm legal. I go to work every day. I'm not, you know, I'm not worried about them because, quote unquote, I'm not a criminal. Well, as we know in our community, that shit don't matter.
Yeah. Well, they are absolutely getting profiled by ICE. If you brown and you ain't, let's say you just decided to go to Home Depot to purchase an LED light or some wood or something, you happen to be brown, there's a real good chance, certainly if they're performing a raid at that Home Depot, they're gonna stop you and demand ID, which is illegal. If you're not doing anything wrong, nobody has a right to stop you and demand you prove you have a right to be here. And that's absolutely happening to them.
And I mean, it's America doing what America does. 1965 wasn't that fucking long ago. People kill me when they try to tell us, "Oh, you guys, it's not like that." What are you guys so worried about? You're just crying. Quit being a victim. Yada yada yada. All that bullshit. And I mean, like I said the other day when I called in, DEI. You go in a room. If you're a white teen heterosexual male, guess what? You can just keep working because they ain't coming to fucking get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing on the streets. You can blow by a fucking checkpoint and be like, "Hey, I'm white. Okay, guy, go on through. We're not looking for you."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we know that the Hispanic community was very instrumental in electing Trump. In fact, Trump won the Hispanic male vote. I think he got like 30% or something like that of the Hispanic female vote. I'm going to ask a dumbass question, but I'm asking anyway for you and the audience at home. Do you think those numbers have changed any?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
And if not, I mean, it's kind of like Black MAGA. I don't know if I'm the first, but I know ever since I've come on here, I would have paid $20 a gallon for gas just because I knew what I had to give up to get it. You know what I mean? So
I remember you saying that. I remember trying to get clarity from you on that long before the election started. You were like, as opposed to Trump getting in there and bringing the economy and gas prices down, I would rather pay $10 a gallon than vote for Trump. I was shocked when you said that the first time, but you've been consistent. You're still saying it now.
Yeah, because it went, it's a cost benefit analysis with me. You know what I mean? So you mean you could give me $2 gas, but then cops have immunity. You got all these alligator Alcatraz. All these rights and things being stripped away, or our norms. For cheaper gas and groceries.
I'm hearing.
I would have took the higher prices.
Yeah, for the grid, I'm hearing that there's as many as 5 more of those alligator Alcatraz facilities in the works. I think Ron DeSantis is planning on putting 2 more in Florida alone.
Well, there's tracks. Who were they building fucking prisons for before them? Us.
Yeah.
So there's tracks. I mean, this is right in line with the fuck they do.
And what's really odd is that his state, because of the Cubans and the Venezuelans, he has a large amount of Republican Hispanics in his state. He really fucked them over. I mean, that state really fucked over the Hispanic population in that state. I mean, your governor is okay with any of you folks going up in that damn center, but yeah, a lot of Hispanics in Florida voted red.
Yeah, and I mean, they consistently have been, especially the Cubanos. You know what I mean? That's been their niche. You know what I mean? So, but as I've always been taught, that you deserve the government you get. We just got to muddle through this shit. But my thing is, it's political insanity. I mean, what did we learn from his first term to fucking bring him back? You know what I mean? The definition of insanity is doing the same fucking thing.
Well, speaking of sanity, though, like Shane Lewis in the comments says, Democrats had me brainwashed in the 70s. So some folks suggest that, you say insanity is doing the same thing over there. Some folks are suggesting that the Democrats are the ones that follow the media and propaganda and they don't know what the hell's going on. And that Trump is the truth, the guiding way. And that the Democrats are just too stupid and brainwashed.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't call myself a Democrat or whatever. I think most times that I just vote for less harm, man, harm reduction and progression. You know what I mean? That in my community, progression has been the thing. People come up here and talk about MLK and Malcolm X. Those all were progressive. They wasn't conservatives. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when they talk about the Dixiecrats, those were conservative fucking...
and I think that's something they don't. Yeah, when you're talking about when they suggest a party switch didn't happen, and the Democrat Party was the party of the KKK and the Confederate South. What you're talking about, the difference between progressives and conservatives, that does not factor into the argument because you're correct. The Democrats, while they were the party of slavery, they were referred to as conservatives back then. they were not liberals or progressives back then.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they always quote MLK and you know, Malcolm X, but I think MLK said, you know, something about he was feared of taking his people in a burning house, and I think he said something, you know, to an interviewer about he's afraid that the Republican Party is becoming an all-white man party,
Yeah.
and if they don't change very soon, we weren't going to be there, and we wasn't.
Yeah.
Because it no longer represented us. You know what I mean? So, you know, when people say, you know, the plantation, this and that, I think what they misconstrued is that most black people vote for less harm. It's not necessarily the policies, because we don't ever get a lot of shit we want.
Do you think the Hispanic community will be like that now?
They'd be fools not to.
Well, some would
saying.
suggest they were fools in the last election.
I suggested that, but hey, they had to find out. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one thing to tell you when you go around that corner, the dude's gonna hit you with a hammer, and you go around that corner, damn, he really hit me with a hammer. Well, you should have listened.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Sterlo in the comments says something interesting. He says, "I'm just saying that for every one Hispanic that wants these folks here, there is another Hispanic saying kick them out." Is there like a substantial amount of Hispanics that agree with alligator Alcatraz and shit like that? Because that's what he's saying, is that there's an ample amount. You know, some people want them here, others want them out. I mean, do you think there's a large amount among the Hispanic community of people that agree with the likes of Tom Homan and Trump?
I don't know if, you know, I don't know if we can put a quantitative amount or large or this and that, but Harriet carried the pew-pew for those people. So yeah, I'm sure they got them in their realm too.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I think that. In my opinion is this, and I'm just speculating. I don't fucking know, but my opinion, if I had to guess, is there's a large amount of Hispanics that want the bad hombres out, the rapists and murderers, maybe even some of the folks that are here illegally. I don't think there's a large amount of Hispanics that want to get rid of TPS, so I think that some of the stuff Trump is doing. The Hispanic, I don't think there's a large amount of Hispanics that, you know, like to see a bunch of white folks taking a picture with alligator. I don't think they like seeing that, taking pictures by the side. It's one thing to want to get these people out. It's another thing to be literally hoping that they meet their demise and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think Hispanics want that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can wrap it up in a bow however you want. But if you're MAGA and you're still in on Trump at this point, it's the cruelty. Because there's no line. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've used the fucking coke. The cruelty is what you're in it for. The shock and awe and all that. Okay, I get it. I mean, if that's what you're into.
Well, I won't say for certain they're in it for the cruelty, but I will say for certain they love it. I mean, when something bad happens to these, you do see a lot of folks in the comments, yay, that's what we voted for, get them out. I mean, you know, obviously the alligator Alcatraz, they're literally joking and taking pictures on the notion that somebody might get consumed by an alligator. So there is a certain love for cruelty among MAGA. I don't disagree with that.
And it's, and like I said, man, it's hard to have empathy for that man and anybody that supports him, because they roll just like him. You know, I would say, and I don't feel great saying this, but before him and any other president that I disagree with or didn't like their policies, if they would have had a pew-pew attempt on them, I would have felt sick almost at the stomach. But this guy, like I said, 2 people last month, 2 months ago, just because they didn't support him, he didn't feel like he needed to go fucking say anything to the country about what happened to them. You know, the same guy that had fucking, you know, it was a retruth or tweet or whatever, had Joe Biden, the sitting president, hog-tied and gagged.
Yeah. Well,
but everybody thought that was funny and shit, you know what I mean? But he kept an AI pew-pew and puts a tampon on his ear, and oh man, you guys should really feel something for you.
yeah, that's what it is. It's funny when you laugh at liberals, but they don't find it funny when somebody does it to conservatives. You're right. A picture of the president hog-tied in the back of a pickup truck is funny, but when you start making jokes of Trump, somebody trying to take his life or something about Trump, it's wrong. Same thing with the folks that are, you know, and it's wrong to laugh at this, but people did make fun of and ridicule some of the MAGA voters that are suffering down in southern Texas with the flooding. But if, you know, the same argument applies. You're going to make fun of what's bad, all the bad shit that's happening to these immigrants. you got to understand that if you give that type of energy off, it may come back at you. And you're making fun of an old man with dementia, for instance. They believe that Biden is old, and well, he is old, but they believe he has dementia and all these other mental illnesses. If you're okay with making fun of what you think is an elderly man with a mental illness, shit, I mean, what do you expect? What kind of energy you expect to be returned towards you?
And I mean, people, tallied before, this new, his latest win as president, that there was no wars and it was peace. There was peace maybe everywhere around us, which is arguable, but it definitely wasn't peace in our streets and inside these 50 states.
No.
It definitely wasn't.
And that's not gonna end with Trump. That's not gonna go away. I mean, look, America's a violent country. I do got to move it on, but that's just in our. I mean, we took over by violence. America's gonna remain violent. Go ahead, give the last word.
I don't totally disagree with that. I guess what I'm saying is he fans the flames, and I think other presidents, whether they mean it or not, perceive to try to make things, as calm and probably dapper shit down as much as they can from their bully pulpit. And I think he takes every chance to just fucking fan those flames, and it doesn't make us safe.
Fair enough.
But thanks, my brother.
Anytime. For the great, appreciate you coming on. Real quick in the comments, a couple comments I want to respond to. By the Beard of Zeus, once again, I like that name, says, yeah, we made fun of him, referencing Joe Biden, because he was in office. Would not have mocked him if he was in like a nursing home or something like that. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, listen, there's a whole lot of people that MAGA makes fun of that is not in office. You guys make fun of anybody that votes liberal can really get it. I mean, so you made fun of Biden because he was in office. No, you would make fun of Biden if he was running for office. Most of the liberals that ran for office and didn't even succeed, I mean, you guys have criticized. So I'm just simply saying, you get back the energy that you give, and the right gives off a lot of name calling energy, for lack of a better term. I get the liberals do some of it too, but at the presidential level, that shit shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't have a president doing it. And, you're going to get your Rush Limbaughs or Rachel Maddow's or the talking heads, the Sean Hannity's. That's what they get paid to do. It shouldn't be coming out of the Oval Office, though. It just should not. You shouldn't have, Happy Thanksgiving to all the radical left lunatics. That shouldn't come from a president. Just want to say that. That shouldn't be coming from a president. Somebody asked me, this is coming from Mikhail, asked me, do you know why Trump won? Good question. There's a host of reasons why he won. Number one reason is he was promising a bunch of good shit. He promised them. Listen, I've been to a couple of Trump rallies and I even stood up and clapped on some of the shit he promised. Now, is he delivering it? That's a different argument. But if you got wars going on where people are dying and you promising that you can end it in 24 hours, that's good shit. That's good shit. If you can do that and nobody else around the world cannot do it, and you are promising that I know how to end this war, I have the solution, I can end this shit in 24 hours. I mean, that's like finding somebody who's bleeding out and you saying I can stop the bleeding in 2 seconds. Well, shit, here's the tourniquet. You go and work on it. So he promised good shit. He promised that he was going to get groceries and stuff under control quickly. That's good shit. Who wouldn't vote for that? I mean, so he made a bunch of good promises, is why people voted for him, in my opinion. I mean, he promised to get rid of people that are being let in this country that are not vetted and they're going around raping and murdering people. People, that's good shit. Now, they didn't expect it to be grandma that's been in the country for 50 years and ain't done nothing wrong. But he promised really good stuff. So it makes sense that he got elected. But it's turning out that he made a bunch of promises on stuff that he either didn't know what he was talking about or he couldn't do. Same thing with the Epstein files. You're looking at Biden and it's like this guy died under suspicious circumstances that we don't believe. And he was working in conjunction with a hell of a lot of other elite members of society abusing children. The Biden administration won't put the truth out there. But Trump is promising he is going to do that. And for the sake of making sure no more people are victimized by these bad guys, I'm going to vote for Trump because he promised he's going to tell us the truth. That's promising good shit. He didn't deliver on it. So, yeah, I understand why he won. He made a lot of good promises. But when it comes to actual delivery, that's something different. I mean, so we'll look at it like that. Looking in the comments, though, Are you joking that Cheeto made fun of a disabled person? No, he did. Yeah, you're talking to somebody else because he did do that. And that's what I keep saying. There's going to be ridicule, name calling, and insulting coming from both sides of the aisle. What I disagree with is suggesting that the president, it should be okay with the president doing it. You didn't get that from Bush. You didn't get it from Obama. You didn't really get it from Biden. Biden said something like, what, ultra MAGA, and he didn't like Puerto Rico's an island of garbage, so he referred to Trump supporters as garbage like at the last few days of his term. But for the most part, nobody, and I mean no one, with emphasis on no one, has insulted people like President Trump. Nobody else was doing that. Nobody else has done that. It comes generally from some left congresswoman or congressman that don't like the right, and the same thing coming from the right at that level. It has never came from the White House. All of a sudden, Trump is doing it, and you got a hell of a lot of MAGA. Well, they insulted him, too. So you're not going to get unity if the person at the very top is divisive. If there's any hope for bringing us together as we all criticize and insult each other, you need the boss to walk in the room and say, knock it the fuck off. He ain't doing that. He's walking in the room and picking sides. The boss needs to be able to walk in the room and say, knock it off. For the sake of this country, we got to get along. He is not doing that. And that's not something you would have gotten out of Biden or George W. Bush or H.W. Bush or any of them. He's doing something that, in my opinion, should not be coming out of the Oval Office, and we should not be excusing it well, they attacked him too. No. At some point, isn't the right the ones that always talk about snowflakes? At some point, you got to let that shit roll off your back. You don't have to return. I mean, he's talking about taking Rosie O'Donnell's fucking citizenship because she's talking about him in Ireland. What the fuck is that? You're busy running the country. You worried about this chick that's over in Ireland, and you actually taking the social media and talking about her. No president should be doing shit like that. No president should be doing it. Liberals are psycho, says Lucky Pie. I don't know what that means, but he's representing common people instead of the elite. No, he's not representing common people doing that. He's representing some people. Common people don't do that. He ain't representing everybody by doing them like that. But it's funny that you guys actually defend that. You actually defend having the president name calling and stuff like that. I don't get how that's going to make the country great. I just don't. More common people identify with his speech than elites do. And the point is, more of them, but I think most Americans, even on the right, most Americans that like Trump's policies wish the name calling would stop. Even most, I won't say most, but even a lot of Trump supporters wish he would get out of that because it does not bring the country together. But what's really crazy about that, before I go to the next caller, what's really crazy about this shit is I get MAGA on the program all the time asking questions like, why do y'all hate him? Why don't y'all? You're defending this guy attacking people, whether it's because he like it, maybe because he don't think they're doing the right thing for America, or maybe because they attacked him, whatever the case may be. If he attacks somebody, MAGA's going to find a way to defend why it was a justifiable attack. You're okay with that, but you're clueless as to why people don't like him. That doesn't make sense to me. Looking in the comments real quick, Will G says, Trump and MAGA ain't shit, he says they really act like they didn't do anything to deserve the criticism. The ultimate victim mentality. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. You're okay with him attacking people, but then when he gets attacked, it's somehow a Trump derangement syndrome. That makes no sense to me at all. The goal should be to keep that shit out of the White House, left or right. Before I continue on, and make sure I didn't miss anything, think you triggered the troll farm. Listen, MAGA's going to defend Trump no matter what. So, and I enjoy talking to MAGA. Got nothing but love for MAGA on the program. It is what it is, but I disagree of anybody defending the White House, the top, the cream of the crop in this country, attacking people. I mean, it literally got on social media and posted a picture of the former president, or the current president. He was the current president at the time, hog tied in the back of a pickup truck. And MAGA somehow, some way, were trying to indicate that what doing that to Biden was funny, was okay. I don't have an answer for it. I don't know why MAGA would think that's okay. Well, they did it to him. Gangsta Grandma, good evening.
Well, you know why they defend him, because they're all trash. They're the bottom of the bucket. They're despicable. They're human waste.
And then you open up with all sorts of names.
The maggots are the bad part of the United States. They should be deported. Not the ones that coming over here and working. The maggots should be deported. They're the scum of the earth.
You said the MAGA are the bad part of the United States. Damn. What makes you say that?
Because I said it. What the fuck? Who's gonna whoop my ass? Nobody.
The bad part of what are they doing that's so bad for you to say that?
Are you fucking serious?
I gotta ask.
They're racist. They're no good for nothing. The welfare freaks. They voted against their own damn interests. They're allowing a pedo in the office. Oh no, did you hear the new thing? Obama wrote the list.
But I still always ask.
Obama wrote the list.
Yeah, but I still always have to ask. You don't actually believe that all 100% of MAGA are racist, do
I
you?
said what the fuck I said.
And I'm trying to get clarity
They
on
are
it.
the scum of the earth. They're the bottom of the bucket. They're douchebags. And what they gonna do?
100% of MAGA are racist in your opinion.
Yeah. You walk like a duck, you talk like a duck, you a duck. If they voted for him and they're still with him and they see what the hell is going on, they are racist, Tim. Quit sucking on it.
Jesus, I'm not sucking on anything. I'm just.
You go up here and you defend these punks, saying, "Oh, they're not all racist. Oh, they're my little homies." You just had a triple K up here saying, "I like you how they what is that called? I wish they would feed them to the gators."
You're talking about
Excuse me, with your white tea ass, they should feed you. Because you know what? The white man should be gone off this country. Because they're the ones that came in and gave everybody syphilis and stuff. They're the ones that came in and slaughtered the Native Americans. Yeah, let's go there. Let's know about the real history. Now, the white man did not find this country.
Now the first thing
The natives were here. The Mexicans were here. Let's go there, okay? The Mexicans was here. Before anybody was here with the natives.
Now the first thing people are going to say, based on the way you talking, is that you sound racist when you're talking. The way
Let me tell you something. I am not racist. I'm just calling it like it fucking is. Okay, homie? I'm not like you. I'm not gonna stick on a white man and say, "Oh yes, then we're not all racist." Get me the fuck out of here. I call it like it fucking is. The files, they're still over here trying to defend him. Oh no, it's a deep stated. Oh, those Democrats is on it. No, bitch, the Democrats ain't on it. You know why? If they was on it, Trump would have let it out. You know why? Because he hates us.
I'm gonna tell you. I disagree.
Called it out.
I disagree. You know, here's my stance on it. Hold on, let me get it out, and you can tear. Let me go ahead and get it out, and you can tear it down and call it fluffing. But my guess is that Trump was saying he was going to release the Epstein list, like a lot of other shit in the war in 24 hours. He was saying whatever it took to get elected. And fact is, the reason Biden, in my opinion, or the liberals didn't release the Epstein list is the same reason the Trump administration is not releasing it. It's because they got friends and associates and people they care about that are on the fucking list that they don't want to get harmed. What?
Trump is on it. A guilty man.
He might be. I'm not disagreeing. Hold on.
A guilty man will not release it.
I'm not disagreeing.
I promise you, if I was in office and people was over here saying, "Oh, you were like on the little girls and little boys and you was doing what they was doing," I'll say, "Oh, honey, release it." I'm not on it.
And
I'm not on it.
King Finn, you say that Cheeto dust is piling up. What the hell does that mean? I'm not disagreeing with you, Gangsta Grandma, but I do believe both the left and right have players that are involved in this that they care about, and that's why.
I don't give a damn if left is on it. If they're on it, they need to go under the damn jail. Release the shit. You said they're going to release the shit. Release it. And whoever's on the shit needs to be under the damn jail, left or right.
Well,
but the biggest one the biggest one is the one that's in the office, and they're still riding his little daddy whacker. They're still riding it hard.
Oh my God!
Real hard.
And Cedric,
Like you.
and Cedric Haney in the comments, I just stated. You said he asked me why didn't Biden release it? I just said because I believe there are elite members of both the Democrat and Republican Party on there. That's why neither party is releasing this shit. The only difference is Trump made promises. That's why he's getting held to the fire, because he campaigned on get rid of these fucking liberals. If you put me in, I'll make sure you know what's on there. And now it's looking like he fucking lied. That's why he's getting hammered more than Biden is. He made the promise and tried to play Superman, and he's not delivering.
Do you think that man's gonna be stupid enough to release it? He's on it.
A lot of people
He
believe
is so
him.
on it. He is so on
A
it.
lot of people believe them.
He's so on it.
Well,
All right.
Well, as you say, MAGA ain't going nowhere though, so he still has.
Now, let me tell you something. If we're always safe still, because of deporting, I was more safe with a non-documented immigrant than I am with the white tea man.
So
The
you.
white tea men are the ones that are doing a lot of the bullshit. We're not safe.
So you would feel
We're
safer.
not safe in this damn country.
You would.
Hell no.
You would feel safer. You said with an undocumented immigrant around you than a white man.
Damn right. Damn right.
What?
Damn right.
What is your beef with the white man?
Well, they unalive us. Well, they like to PP up schools. Well, they like to grape us. They're the number one predator in FBI statistics. Hello.
You making it sound like white men ain't safe.
They're not. I'll pick a bear over a white man.
You pick a bear. Damn. I don't. Have you had? Let me ask you, just being honest. I mean, with you being an African American woman, have you had a lot of problems with white people in your lives? I mean, surely you've heard about black on black crime.
I have 3 people in my DM saying they will unalive me because I talk shit. And you know what I told them? I said, square the fuck up. I tell them that, square the fuck up.
Wow.
Because, honey, I'm not, you may think I'm white, but, honey, I came straight from the hood, 9th Ward. And I'll put a cap in your ass and I'll put you on a damn body bag quicker than you think.
But then let me ask you, if you came straight from the hood, as you illustrate, you would have had to see a hell of a lot of black on black crime, yet you're claiming the white man is the problem. All the black on black crime you've seen, but you're going to skip over that and pick the white man?
There's no such thing as black on black crime. Now let's do the white on white crime, the Mexican on Mexican crime. And all the white man does that all the damn time. Oh, that's black on black crime. Because we're in the hood.
Well,
You go to the white people, you go to the white hood, it's all the, all the ones that be cooking. You know what I mean? The crystal, all the
Oh,
the
meth.
ice.
Yeah, meth. Okay.
Yeah. They be doing some shit too.
But that still doesn't take away from the point I'm trying to make, is that you're suggesting that you're more concerned with the white man, even though you grew up in the hood where I'm sure there was a lot of black people in your area committing crimes.
Okay. Yeah, and they didn't hurt me, right? I am safer with my black men, and I'm safer with undocumented. I'm safer with black and brown people. I don't trust the white tea, man. No, hell no. Nope. I would not. Nope.
Have you ever had any? I
We're
mean,
not safe.
for all of your concern and lack of the feeling of safety around white, have you ever actually had any problems out of a white man?
What? Mega?
I mean, well, you getting a few threats online from straight, but I mean, in your,
They ain't about that life. What?
I mean, in your daily travels, with considering how concerns you say about whites, have you ever had your car broken into?
No,
One day?
I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the maggots. Normal white tea people are cool, okay? I can tell who is an ally and who is not an ally. Like people, I have a sign on my businesses, okay? I have a sign on my businesses. Do not bring the maggot shirts in my establishment or the Make America Great Again. Do not bring that shit in my thing.
So you have a business, and what if one of your customers walked in with a MAGA hat on?
They get the fuck out.
You're gonna kick them out.
I'll get the fuck out because you're not going to make my employees or anybody unsafe. You're not.
Just from
You're not going to come up in my establishment and say, it's fine, your shit. You got me fucked. I don't need your money. I don't need that damn bag.
So if I'm walking around the street looking like this, I suddenly become unsafe when I put a hat on?
You get the fuck out of my establishment.
But you said unsafe.
I don't like them because I'm not safe with them. They're the triple K. They are the triple K. They're the new triple K. They allowing all this shit to go down. And let me tell you something. People, and I can't say some of my black community. They said this ain't our fight. Oh yeah, this is our fight. Oh, this is our fight. We had never stopped fighting because you know why? The three people that get unalived by the popos is black people, the Hispanics, and the natives. And the only reason why they say about the white man is because they put a lot of Hispanics underneath white. That's statistically proven. Okay? So miss me with the bullshit that the white man is not the damn problem when they are the biggest problem. They don't like none of us.
Then how do you respond to folks who might suggest that while blacks only represent 13% of the population, they represent half the prison population?
Because it's unjust. This justice system isn't made for us. Okay? If a white teen man did the same damn shit as a black man, the black man gets the worst of the thing, and the white man gets out.
And you believe that that's still taking place in 2025?
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
I'm just asking. Now, one thing when you start talking about how they unalive or police take the life of you said blacks, Hispanics, and natives. I've played this before for you, but I do want folks in the audience to hear this as well. And I will.
No, I do not want to hear.
Yeah,
that.
well, it's not just, but it's not just. Hold on, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. I want for the audience as well, but I do want to hear your opinion on this.
Let's talk about George Floyd. You said George Floyd's death was a terrible thing.
Terrible.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way. More white people.
Why did every pew-pewer from the school walk out without being unalived? Why did the people that shoot up the schools, shoot up the churches, why did they walk out? If it was a black man, we wouldn't have walked out.
Well, they're gonna.
Why did January 6th? If that was the truth, why did January 6th? Why did they get unalived?
Well, in regards to you asking why do school shooters and all this stuff walk out without their lives being taken, some are going to argue and suggest that because when they encounter the police, they cooperate. Once the police aim a weapon at them, they put their hands up and cooperate.
What? Hold the fuck on! Oh hell no! No, you need to stop that fluff, and you gotta become your black.
This is what I hear.
The people, the black men that got unalived by the police, they did every fucking thing right. Like my baby brother, he did everything right and still got unalived. So shut me up with that bullshit. And it was caught on camera. He said he killed another N-word. So fuck me with that bullshit.
All right. Listen, you're talking about something that's personal. I mean, it's obviously it has.
And let me tell you something. I'm so sick of the maggots saying, "Oh no, well we just want them to come. We want the immigrants to come mingle." Why did your white ass in it? Huh? Why did they white asses didn't come here legal? No, they just took the shit. They gave black men. They gave the black men syphilis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no one wants to know that shit, right? That's the white tea people.
That did happen.
See, this is what they don't want people to call their bullshit out. And don't tell me, oh, it was a long time ago. No, it really wasn't. And the welfare, they're calling us welfare queens. The welfare was started before we could even vote. Okay?
Yeah. Right.
For the white man. Okay?
Is there any way? Hold on. I get your passion. I do got to move it on, but I want to ask you: is there anything at all that could be done for you not to have this mindset towards MAGA? Is there anything they could do or change at all to have
No, the racist. The racist. I call the black ones out. They racist too. I call the Hispanic ones out. They racist too. You know what they are? They want to be white so bad that they like the white protein around their lips because they think that Donald Trump likes their ass, but they really don't.
All right, gangster grandma.
Let me tell you something. I like normal white tea people. Okay, normal. If I can find them, I like them. The maggots, and I be honest, I take a picture of my shops, my dispensaries, and my restaurant, and I say, do not. And you know how it says, no shirt, no shoes,
No shoes, no shirt, no service. Yeah.
No mega hats, no mega anything. Because you're not gonna make nobody.
You actually have a sign up at your establishment.
Don't do.
Wow.
I don't want that garbage in my. I don't want that garbage in my shit. I don't.
What happened to political freedom?
That's the United States, but in my establishment, that's mine. I pay for it. I run my shit. Okay.
All right.
No, the white tea man don't run me. I work for myself. And you know all the little jobs, like Jeremy be saying, I only make $15 an hour. Well, Costco's hiring $1 more. And guess what? It wasn't even for the undocumented. And you know what was the most fucked up shit about all this was? Not one American's gonna go out in those fields and do this shit. That's why our food is rotting.
Give it time. Give it time. But Gangsta Grandma, I do gotta move it on. Give it time.
No, I gotta go anyway. I gotta roll up. Bye.
Bye. Has to roll. As I say always, you know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone, as you may have seen a few times tonight on the show. If you enjoy civilized dialogue, I'm calling it civilized. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you, congratulations, you're in the right place. We do not block free speech. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having a dinner with Q. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, feel free to follow the program if you're currently watching on Clapper or TikTok. And if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. So that's how we run the program. Smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm. Brings in more MAGA. My algorithm has always been set for MAGA. But unfortunately, when conversations are critical of MAGA, no matter how much you give them free speech, MAGA leaves. Look, at the end of the day, I don't mind hearing criticism of the left or the right. I don't even mind hearing criticism of my damn self, but MAGA is not big fans of hearing criticism of Trump, even if it's from a free speech perspective and they're allowed to rebut. They just tune out. But this is a free speech program. So if you favor echo chambers where everybody is either criticizing the left or everybody's wearing a red hat, this isn't the place for you. It's not. You're going to hear opinions on all sides. Anyway, looking in the comments, Ed G says, she walks, talks, and looks like a dumbass. God, this is in reference to my last caller. I should have read this while she was on here. But he says, she walks, talks, and looks like a dumbass. She must be. She is the problem with America. She said Trump's on the list, but no Dem at all is on the list. I don't buy that. Like I said earlier, I believe there's Democrats and Republicans on the list. I think that's why Biden didn't release the list, and I think that's why Trump did not release the list. Trump promised to release the list because he wanted to get elected. And once he got elected, some of those promises are no longer necessary. I kind of see the same way with removing the e-vehicle mandate in the big, beautiful bill. Elon had already made his donation to Trump. Trump didn't need any more money from Elon. Okay, so who gives a shit if you don't want the e-vehicle mandate removed? I don't need you anymore. I really believe that's how that went down. I think Elon for $350 million was expecting a little bit more than he got, but it's all water under the bridge at this point. Will G says Trump removed MLK's bust from the Oval Office to the dining room. I just heard about that a couple hours ago. Trump doesn't want his office, or better yet, Trump doesn't want to to his face and okay, I don't get what Trump doesn't want something about his face and the vendetta against black people continues. I did hear that Trump removed the bust of MLK from the Oval Office, and he said he put it in the dining room. Look, we talked about Trump's first term. We talked about everything from allocating money in HBCUs and stuff like that. I'm not hearing any pro-black shit in Trump's second term. There was a little bit of defense to suggest, well, Trump doesn't hate blacks. He did this or see he did that. I ain't seeing shit out of his second term. Nothing. Somebody let me know if I'm getting it wrong. Give me some of Trump's greatest hits that may have helped out minorities in his second term. I'm not seeing anything. Wow. I mean, it's looking kind of like the Mojave. It's looking pretty dry right now. We'll see. I mean, he has 3.5 more years left. It's still early, but he ain't even promising anything. I mean, he's not even making promises toward the African American community. I'm not seeing anything. He's taking everything from us, says Greg Harvard. Wow. This is because blacks turned on him this election, says Ray. Well, he didn't get a lot of support from blacks even in the first election, but the idea that blacks turned on him in this election, so he's going to fuck them over. This is just like I talked about being at the top of the pyramid in name calling. There has to be some kind of decorum for the president of the United States. You're essentially saying because blacks didn't support him, he's taking out revenge on black people. Wow. Yikes. I mean, is he a president for the people or not? Well, shit, I'm only a president for my supporters. If you didn't support me, fuck you. That ain't how it's supposed to be. That is not how it's supposed to be. And people are actually defending that. Wow. Black people need to vote in 2028. They need to vote in every damn election, but you are right. I'm black from the waist down. You are black. I get what you're trying to say, that you got real big ass ankles. Is that what you're telling me? You black from the waist down. Oh my Lord. What does that say in the comments? You mean the way he has been against black people? Well, King, like I said, I'm not seeing anything pro-black out of Trump's second term. And like I said, they were able to come up with a few things in his first term. I'm not even hearing Trump bragging about being pro-black. Against the grandma, my last caller said it's because Trump doesn't like us. Wow. He's not even helping his supporters. He's fucking everyone with his little mushroom. The man is almost 80 years old. He ain't fucking nobody at this point. If he's still fucking at 80, shout out to him. Well, wasn't it Al Pacino? Didn't he just have a baby recently? I guess you can still bust a couple. I don't know. That's old though. I wasn't a racist until you called me one, says Shane Lewis. You were not a racist until you got called one. I don't know where to go with that. By the way, in the comments, Mika asked, how do you call in? If you have either Clapper or TikTok, we're live on both of those platforms right now. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow folks to call in, but if you have the Clapper or TikTok app, same name across all the platforms, the Handsome Liberal, come on over, we'll bring you right up. That's how it works. Continuing on, though, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. You mean the way he has been against black people? Wow. Oh, my God. Russia is raging an information war on us, and Trump doesn't want to mean he failed to stop them. I think Trump has already failed on his claims of Russia significantly. It's kind of like the Epstein list, kind of like the ending of, when you make promises and you don't meet them, you don't meet them. I mean, he promised that he told us he had a decent relationship with Putin, he knew what to do, and he could end that war in 24 hours. And now he's come full circle back to the Biden mindset, where we need to continue providing weapons to the Ukraine because Russia is the aggressor. He's sounding like Biden did 6 months ago. So his promise on Russia, his whole stance on Russia was incredibly wrong. In my opinion, it should be no surprise when you look at the fact that virtually every president in our lifetime had the same view of Russia that Biden did, and Trump was the only one talking about how the guy was a great guy and blaming Ukraine and said he could work with Russia. Like all of these other presidents before you, you're going to ignore all of them? Their intelligence, you're going to ignore all of that shit, and you're going to just go and try to work out with them, huh? Okay, good luck with that. and we see what happened. It failed. Nobody but a motherfucker in Houston. I don't get what you're saying there in the comments there, Grant. Real quick in the comments, abortion kills millions more blacks. Planned Parenthood founder, abortion is eugenics. Well, Shane, if you want to, because people blame Margaret Sanger and all this shit about, look, terminating the pregnancy is voluntary. So the idea that this is, some kind of quest to take the lives of blacks, ain't nobody making an African American mother walk into a clinic. Just like if you're going to say that pregnancy termination is killed, then so is cigarettes, so is alcohol. You want to ban that as well? I mean, my guess is cigarettes probably kill as many blacks as well. I mean, you want to ban that? I mean, all that shit's voluntary. So blaming Margaret Sanger, no. Look, before that became legal, they were finding other ways to do it. So look, that's a voluntary, something you do voluntary. The mom walks in the clinic, schedules an appointment, and she makes that decision on what she's going to do. I don't see them as somehow some kind of conspiracy where they're trying to take out a bunch of black lives. I think Newports is probably more responsible for doing that. Newports and cool cigarettes. I would blame them more. At least they used to have advertisements and shit to the black community. Camel cigarettes used to advertise to kids. Planned Parenthood don't do it to that level. So I think you got that one wrong. Let me go back to the box. He says Sanger created a safe space. So did Newports. So did alcohol. So did Hennessy. It's all a safe space. MAGA reacts. Good evening. Welcome to the program, MAGA. Now, we were talking earlier about, Trump made it clear there was 3 issues with illegal immigration in this country that justified mass deportations, or as Trump says, the largest deportation in history. Number 1 being there's a bunch of rapists and murderers coming in the country, violent people, bad hombres, we need to get them out. Number 2 being they're taking American jobs, reducing American salaries, taking black jobs. Number 3, social programs, entitlements. They're getting more shit than Americans. They're getting welfare, EBT cards, Obama phones, and all that. So what I want to ask you in regards to those 3 things, starting out with number 1, now that we are involved in the largest deportation in history, now that we have 95% reduction of border crossings, do you feel safer on the streets of America now?
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead, keep going. Did you?
With me, it has less to do with the deportation, more to do with the border being secure. Before, even by the Biden administration's number, they're letting in like 100 terrorists a year, some shit like that. And that never made sense to me. Why are they telling us they're letting in 100 terrorists a year? Fucking kick them out.
Was the Biden administration telling you they're letting in 100 terrorists, or was the Trump administration telling you that?
The Biden one, they're like, these are the people that are on the terrorist watch list or on the terrorist list of whatever. And this many people were let in the last, year.
So we've had 100 terrorists come in the country under the Biden administration, and Biden is gone. And 100 of them, not one of them committed an act of terror.
Yeah, thank God. But now I know for sure, like with the number being 0, I don't have to worry about an act of terrorism after we do something stupid like bombing Iran.
But if they hadn't committed an act of terror under Biden either, maybe you didn't have to worry about it then. Is it possible that maybe these people actually were not terrorists? 100 of these people came in and not one of them committed an act?
I don't know. I'm better safe than sorry.
Okay.
And again, this is like their number, their information, how they labeled it. I don't know what the actual truth is. I'm just telling you what they were saying on the news.
Yeah, I get that part, but the idea that 100 of these folks came in and none of them have committed an act of terror, even when Trump started mass deportations, meaning they got to go now. Seemed like if you came in as a terrorist and you were going to do some shit, now that you got Trump and Tom Homan in there, you realize you need to expedite and do something. The idea that 100 of them came in and nothing has happened, it kind of makes you believe that maybe they were not terrorists.
Or we don't know what they're up to, and, the problem might pop up in the future. I know, like, within the last month, didn't they arrest, like, 10 supposed terrorists that had a terrorist plan and they stopped them?
Well, I've heard some stuff, but at the end of the day, I kind of wonder because when America puts you on this list, I would need to know more of why they're on the list. I mean, we probably make out terrorists because, as some of my viewers have pointed out through some of the shows, ain't no Klan members or white supremacists on the terrorist list, even though they commit activity that is terroristic. So we pick and choose who we want to put on that list. I mean, there are plenty of folks in this country that do not make that list. We don't even call what they do terrorism, even though it's exactly the same definition of it.
I mean, that could go for gang members. That could go for anyone committing acts of violence.
Yeah. So we're picking and choosing who go on the list. I mean, yeah, you're right.
Not all of them have the right to be here, so if we could eliminate the ones that don't have a right to be here, you know?
I'm fine with going after illegal immigrants. I'm not fine with changing the definition of a word to only address certain people.
That's funny, because the Democrats do that all the time. My favorite is when they were heading toward recession and they changed the word recession.
Well, I'm gonna say the same thing I always say. When something is said about Trump or the Republicans, bringing up that something else happened, the same thing happened from the Democrats or from Biden, that doesn't defend Trump. That just says you did it too. That's not a defense for what I'm talking about, though. You're just deflecting and saying, well, somebody else did something similar. That ain't defending what we're talking about, though.
Oh, I wasn't trying to defend it. I'm just telling you something.
All right. Well, that's what I'm just simply saying. I'm not a fan of changing the definition of a word so that it don't. Because I mean, we in this country, you hear the word terrorist, you instantly think Muslims, even though anybody can be a terrorist. I don't like that we've changed words to only fit certain groups of people. Your audio got real low.
Sorry, I accidentally, like when I'm holding my phone, I put my finger over the mic sometimes.
Okay.
The little hole in the bottom.
Save the fingering for something that's a little bit more attractive. But anyway, let me ask you this. Also, do you believe now that we're involved in the largest deportation in history? Have you seen the availability of jobs in your area increase significantly?
It has to. But again, I don't even actually think this is the largest, dude. Like, his numbers are still very low. Like, you guys are like crying murder, but I'm looking at the numbers on that website you were showing earlier. I can show them to you on my little screen if you like.
His numbers are only low because only a small amount of time has went by. He's doing his best. I mean, now they just increased the budget from $8 billion to $28 billion. Them numbers are about to explode.
So yeah, we'll see if they actually explode, or it's all a waste of money. But up until now, they haven't done shit. Like, 2024 had 4 times as much deportation. 2023 had doubled, and 2022 had about the same. From the charts on the ICE's website, the same charts we were looking at earlier. So
is that also counting all the folks that were coming across that's being stopped?
Yeah, I mean, that's the main difference, that less people are coming in.
Yeah.
But still, like, if you're bitching about deportation, the numbers haven't changed. The people being deported are the same as always.
Yeah, listen, I believe strongly that if you're here with a criminal history and all, even if you're not here legally, I'm not bitching about the deportations. I'm just, like I said, changing the definition of a word. If you got grandma that came in the country illegally back in 1980 and she's been here since that time and you're deporting her, when I say changing the definition of the word, I don't want to hear that grandma's a rapist or a murderer. That's what I'm saying. When you throw her in alligator Alcatraz, I don't want Kristi Noem standing in front of Alcatraz talking about how it's full of rapists and murderers when grandma is in there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this before. I know that airport. I almost crash landed in the airport. I ended up crash landing in a nearby airport, a block west instead. But it's not the dangerous area, even with all the alligators and shit.
It's in the middle. It's in the middle of a swamp, is it not?
I've been off-roading in those swamps. People go airboating in those swamps all day long.
Yeah, but if you go off-roading or airboarding, you have a vehicle. You're not on foot. There's a big difference.
Until that vehicle gets stuck and you have to dig it out the mud.
Oh, come on! I mean, you what we're talking about. Come on now. You think that a person trying to...
Almost every time. I've never been out there and not gotten stuck one way or another.
You're telling me...
Somehow and dig yourself out.
So let me...
No one else can do it.
So let me make it clear. You're telling me that if somebody was in the swamp on foot with no vehicle, trying to walk their way to some safe place, they would be okay.
Yeah, especially like the thing is on it's on I-75. It's not in the middle of the swamp. It's literally on I-75. There's a major roadway they could fucking follow, and unless they like go swimming the whole time, they're gonna be fine. And
Where the alligators? Where the hell the alligators at?
they're deeper in the swamps, or even if they're there, alligators don't really kill people. Crocodiles kill people. Fucking, at worst, you might lose an arm to a fucking gator, but you have to be really dumb.
Oh, so in other words, you won't die, you might just lose an arm. You ever heard of bleeding to death?
Again, anything is possible. You can get cut on a branch or a palmetto bug that wake you up. I don't know. I'm pushing with a palmetto bug thing, but, you know, you could die out there in a million different ways, and you could be just as, in danger anywhere else in the world.
I'm also hearing that there are, pythons and, there's other dangerous animals out there too, right?
Yeah, it's wildlife. But again, you're so close to the highway, it's not as dangerous as you think, unless he goes deeper in the swamp.
Well, if you're trying to escape, my guess is the highway is the last place you want to be, because that's where everybody's going to expect you to go. Because you're right, that's the only place that is safe to get out of the swamp and hide is the highway. So that's probably where all of the people looking for you will be hanging around is the highway.
Plus, if one thing that show Yellowstone told me that caught me is the same camps they had in the middle of the desert in Texas, they're fucking surrounded by rattlesnakes. So they didn't call them rattlesnake fucking Alcatraz. They have rattlesnakes all around that area, and anywhere you go in the middle of nowhere is going to be dangerous one way or another.
So now apparently, I think because you're in Florida, your governor DeSantis apparently is working on 2 more of these type of facilities, and they're also trying to get, they got $28 billion, so they're going to build some more of these places. Do you favor this? You think it's a good idea?
I actually don't. I don't see the need for them. I don't think we have an immigration problem like the rest of the country might.
You are MAGA. You're MAGA. You don't think, as MAGA, you don't think we have an immigration problem?
Not in South Florida. I mean, the place is made out of immigrants, but it doesn't have an immigration problem. Plus, unlike the rest of the country, they actually have the infrastructure.
Yeah, but they don't, just because you got that's a federal facility. So just because you got a facility in Florida doesn't mean everybody in it has to be Floridian. I mean, they could fly people from all over the country, just like they do federal prisons and put them in there.
Well, none of them should be Floridians. They all should be illegal immigrants. That's the other thing you guys keep talking about. You make it sound like he's supporting actual Americans. The people voting for him all are U.S. citizens with, that can't be, despite what the fear-mongering says, they're not going to deport U.S. citizens in mass numbers like you guys keep saying.
No, well, it ain't. Hold on. It's not. You're saying it's fear mongering. You're saying he's not going to deport U.S. citizens like you guys keep saying. No, he's the one saying he's going to do it. He's the one saying he wants to send homegrown folks to El Salvador. He's the one that said he wants to remove Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. He's the one saying he's going to do this shit to citizens, not the liberals. He said it himself.
And again, my biggest problem with you guys act like you have a time machine or a crystal ball. Michael and Denkal, are they like related to Miss Cleo or something? They keep talking like to predict the future, and you guys started out with getting the election wrong. So what makes you think you got everything right now?
Wait a minute. Are you saying that when he says on a hot mic, by the way, so he didn't even mean for the public to hear this, when he says when he's talking to the leader of El Salvador, Bukele, and he's actually talking about sending homegrown people to El Salvador, are you saying we should ignore that?
It wasn't a hot mic. Somebody asked him that question.
No, he said that. No, he was saying that to Bukele. He was not aiming that at the media or anything. He was saying that to him, and yeah, it was a hot mic moment. But even if he said it, even if it wasn't a hot mic moment, why is he saying that?
I don't know, just something on the top of his head doesn't mean he's actually gonna do it.
So
But
we-
if you keep fucking, this is the other problem. You guys hang on every little fucking thing he says, and this is a man that's on TV and talks a lot.
He's the president.
What
MAGA.
hasn't he said?
He's the president.
Why do you guys like memorize all like the little bad shit, but like you forget all the good shit he promises? And
Tell me something he
lying about
did.
Everything else.
Tell me something he did that's so great we should ignore getting rid of U.S. citizens. Tell me something he did that's much better than that.
Yeah. He hasn't done it yet, though. He hasn't gotten rid of anybody.
So what are you saying? Because he hasn't done it, we should ignore it?
Yes, that's usually how it works.
No, it ain't how it works.
What you actually do, not what you randomly
No.
do.
So when Beto O'Rourke running for senator or whatever, governor in Texas, when he said you're damn right I'm gonna take away your ARs, because he hadn't done it yet, the right should have ignored it.
I mean, he ran a whole campaign on it. Trump is not running a whole campaign about it.
So now you should only ignore it if they didn't run a whole campaign on it.
I mean, this is the problem with me and you. Like, you don't live, like, I'm not an English teacher. I'm not going to teach you all the nuances of the American language.
I'm just trying to figure out, when should you take
You've been
the...
in this country and you've been alive way longer than me. You should understand this language way better than I do.
I'm just trying to figure out, when should the American public take the word of a sitting president seriously?
There's a lot of nuance to this language.
Explain the nuance. Let me, because I want to know when I should and shouldn't do it. Explain to me the nuance behind it. Give me your best shot.
Well, how about when he actually passes an executive order about it versus randomly saying some shit?
So until he passes an executive order, so until he passes an executive order, just ignore everything he promises?
Again, something he randomly mumbles is not a promise. Again,
I'm trying to figure out because
language he's ignoring.
right, when he said no tax on tips, he hadn't passed an order. We listened to that. How do you know when to listen and when not to? Give me this manganese that you're speaking.
That was a whole campaign. He said it 100 times. He didn't say it one time and forgot about it. That was part of his campaign. He said it nonstop.
So how many times does he have to say something? How many times does he have to say something before you take it seriously? Is there a count?
With Trump, at least 100. With Trump, seriously, from his record, at least 100. If he says something 100 times, then he's like 80% likely to do it.
So if he only says it 20 times, just ignore it.
It depends. But yeah.
You're not clearing this up at all.
Nuances to all this. Like, again, a lot of nuances to all this shit. And,
I get that. I get you saying there's.
common sense. You should know what he's serious about and what he's not serious about. Or his
I understand all of that, but I'm trying to figure out what formula you're using to determine what's serious and what's not.
I mean, let's put it like this. You have a hard time understanding me, and it makes sense that, like, you have a hard time understanding Trump. So just stop trying and ask us, and I'll try my best to not mislead you.
So I have to come to you to interpret.
Understanding even me, and I talk to you so much. So imagine, like, how bad you are at understanding, Trump.
So I have to come to you to interpret whether what Trump just said is true or not.
Or wait till he actually does it. Wait till there's actually, like, action.
So,
Judge him on his action. Don't judge him on his words.
but the problem is, if he's talking about doing something unconstitutional or something, you mean I should wait till that actually happens?
I mean, if he's constantly talking about it, go for it. Be against it all you want. If he mentions it once, and the media latch onto it, and they're the ones repeating it, especially, like, some things he said were, like, set up by a weird question from the media. You know what I mean? Like, when he talked about something with jailing Newsom. Some reporter asked him, are you going to jail Newsom? He's like, it's up to what's his name if he wants to jail him or not. And then that was translated into, oh, he wants to jail Newsom. We're jailing Newsom's on the table because Trump said that the ICE guy could do it if he wants to. Somebody asked him that question, and he just answered, like, it's up to ICE. And then it was a whole, like, 20, 50 articles about it.
So according to you, Trump is a really big liar then. He says a lot of things that is not going to happen. You're making it sound like unless he says something 100 times, just take it on face value as a lie.
Listen, we all say shit off the top of our head without thinking about it, or we all ramble. And if you're on TV as much as him, and you're being questioned as much as him, and doing as many interviews as him, you would be a lot worse than him.
So if I was on TV as much as him, I would be. If I was on TV as much as him, I would be talking about sending homegrown American citizens to a foreign prison. I would be doing that.
You act about talking about it. He said one line. That's not really talking. That's just a random thought.
I'm just
talking like a whole he spent 3 hours talking about shit. How many minutes did he spend on this?
It doesn't matter if it was 2 seconds. He said it. He got to spend minutes on it for it to see. When I'm having
everything that he says happened. Everything that he says came true. Everything he said, he implemented after.
That's the point I'm making. So in other words, you're admitting that he is a big liar. You're saying that you can't even trust him unless he says it 100 times.
It's not about trust. It's the nuance of Trump, the nuance of the English.
What is it not about honesty either?
It's not quite lying. It's not quite honestly. Like he's not. People talk about shit. It's like when you go out with your friends and you're like hanging out with them and you guys plan a million things the next day.
It's not quite. Wait.
And nothing happens. Did you lie to them or did you want to do it? And if
it's not quite. It's not quite lie. It's not quite honesty. If you promise to do something, if you do it, it's honest. If you don't, it's a lie. That's the only two choices you get. It's not quite.
That's how humans are. We're not robots.
Okay, I want you to hear this real quick, and we'll talk about it.
A step further, I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but I'd like to go a step further. I mean,
you heard what he said. So violent felons that are born in America. Now that ain't even on a hot mic. He's talking to the media, talking about doing that. Now this ain't the first time he did it. So should we ignore that? What he just said there?
Yeah, he says I'd like to. They just say I will. I'd like to, rob a bank and be a millionaire.
Okay, so anything. So if he says he would like to do something that's unconstitutional because he hasn't done, just ignore it.
Pretty much. That's usually how it works.
No, it ain't how it works.
There's very few crimes where you actually get arrested for, planning them out. Like attempted murder is a crime, but attempted jaywalking is not a crime.
Okay. I keep bringing up Beto O'Rourke, who talked about taking away ARs, which is also something he cannot do because it's in the Second Amendment. I didn't see people ignoring that like you're talking about. I mean, he talked about doing something that's against the law as well, and they hammered him with that. Same thing with Obama talking about spread the wealth around. I didn't see people ignoring that. I don't know why Trump gets a pass and all of a sudden, well, he didn't do it, so you got to ignore him. We didn't ignore anybody else.
Well, let's put it this. Beto made us believe that that's what he wants. With Trump, that's what he'd like. He didn't really push it enough where I was like, that's just something he's going to do.
So you don't think Trump actually wants what he just said here?
I mean, he'd like to do it. It was like, but it feels more like a random thought that once he thought about it, I was like, nah, this doesn't work out.
And you don't see any of this as a bunch of gibbly glue where you interpret it this way. If he says it 100 times, you don't see any of this as crazy.
Listen, Trump does a lot of A/B testing. He talks about something, sees how the people feel about it, and based on that, he either drops it or he'll keep talking about it until he sees how popular it is.
Okay.
He does a lot of A/B testing. You know what A/B testing is?
No. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
A/B testing is like when you put out two ads and you see how the people feel about it. If they like A, if they like B.
Okay.
And if you don't like one, you stick with the other. So he does a lot of that shit where he'll put out a tweet.
Well, speaking of doing
reaction,
Okay.
He'll either do it or not do it.
All right, well, I do got to move it on, but speaking of A/B testing, Mike in the comments says, what is your take on him now talking about helping out the Ukrainians?
I told you last time. I mean, he needs to do that because he can't let Ukraine lose. But his goal is still to negotiate peace. And that's the other thing that bothers me about you guys. You keep saying he failed at this, he failed at that. He's got 3.5 more years. Even the Epstein list, he's got 3.5 more years to release it. So we'll see. We'll see if he ends up releasing it or not. And then the thing I like about Trump is if enough people like push him, if enough people like complain, he'll actually he'll change. He'll do what the people wants.
He got 3.5 more years to release the Epstein list. He promised to end the war in 24 hours, but he got 3.5 more years to do it. Really?
Yes. He's got 3.5 years before you can say he failed at anything.
God, I gotta move it on, MAGA.
Last thing, man, you need to upgrade how your setup. Like the way you have shit set up is a little kind of ghetto. You need to have.
Goddamn! Wait! What the fuck? Donate some fucking I haven't had a Galaxy in 2-3 days. God damn it! This stuff costs money. I'll do it. I'll do whatever the fuck you want. Hold on. I'll do whatever the. Hold on. I will do whatever the fuck you ask if the program receives funding. Over 99% of my viewers get a free program. So you want less ghetto, more money. God damn it! I gotta go. Appreciate it.
I'll help you set it up, but it's not about money. It's just how you have it set up. Your TikTok.
I've said what I said on that. I gotta go.
Yeah.
My setup is ghetto. Really? My setup is free. I got a few folks that do support the program, and I cannot thank them enough. But overwhelmingly, well over 99% of my viewers do not support the program, unless I do have some of the subscription settings on, but anyway, let me go back to the conversation. Oh, wow. Light up a Newport, Tim. I don't smoke, but sometimes I need to after some shit like that. I have to blame everything on, what does that say? Shane, you getting busy in my comments here. Appreciate your input. You got the whole audience going after you on YouTube here. This isn't even a code. This is literally a lacking of intelligence. Shane, you said something. Blame everything on the planet on Republicans, just exactly like you retards do now. Well, look, when you're the president, and I'm not gonna pretend like there's somebody alter ego. Thank you, a fucking Galaxy. Thank you, alter ego. Thank you. Appreciate that support. But listen, I'm not gonna pretend like Trump doesn't probably get blamed for shit that he shouldn't get blamed for, but that's part of the job. I mean, you say you guys blame everything on the Republicans. Mike, shout out to you. Some of you folks are showing the love, by the way. Thank you. For my free viewers, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 100,000. But that's part of being politics. I don't know why people expect Trump to get some kind of pass. I mean, okay, yeah, he gets blamed for a bunch of shit. Maybe some things he didn't do, maybe some things he did do. But you're going to tell me that when Trump was not in office and Biden was in there, Trump wasn't doing the same thing to Biden? Trolling the shit out of him, blaming everything on him, blaming everything on Obama? Trump ain't him. Trump is doing a lot of the stuff that people claim that the liberals are doing to Trump. Trump personally did a lot of that same shit to liberals. I just think it's a case of MAGA is okay with Trump launching an attack, but they don't like attacks on Trump. I agree with what Trump says about people. I don't agree with what people says about Trump. So therefore, what people say about Trump is wrong. It doesn't work like that. It just does not work like that. Do any of us even know what's actually going on? Someone says in the comments, if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. If you watch the news, you're misinformed. Damn. Well, fact is, you got to get your information from somewhere. You got to get your information from somewhere. I don't disagree that the news can misinform you, but I would rather be misinformed than uninformed, because you can get your information from the news from a variety of sources to the point where you can start piecing shit together. If you ain't watching nothing at all, yeah, you're totally misinformed. I do believe you should. Whoa, Corey, wow. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Thank you. I do believe that you should watch a you should watch several outlets. You shouldn't just watch right wing. You shouldn't just watch left wing, because both sides are lying to you. If you, I mean, to me by far, and this is where MAGA would disagree with me because they have a problem with CNN and to a lesser degree MSNBC, and I don't get that. Trump constantly attacks CNN. MSNBC is further left than CNN is for sure, and he makes it sound like CNN is like, you know, CNN is owned by Bernie Sanders and AOC. CNN is closer to center than MSNBC is, but yet he always attacks CNN. I don't get that, but I will say this, in my opinion, and this is where MAGA may disagree, but in my opinion, the most fake, I guess you would say, the most fake news outlet is Fox, by far. Fox News is the most dishonest network out there, in my opinion, and I say that as a loyal Fox News viewer for about 20 some odd years. Fox News is really bad. And the problem with that is, unlike MSNBC, what they do for the left, and CNN, what they do and say, a lot of Fox News personalities have left the network and went right on into the Trump administration, or left the Trump administration and went right into the network. Fox News is about as close as you can get to an American example of state TV. That network is rooting for Trump, period. If Trump says that Ukraine is a fraudulent country, we don't need to send them a dime, Fox is going to say that. If Trump starts suddenly saying, no, Russia is the bad guy, we need to help out the Ukrainians, Fox is going to say that too. Fox is going to follow Trump no matter where he goes. You get some of that with MSNBC and CNN, but Fox is way worse. I just think, same thing with the election. Same thing with January 6th. Fox News is just going to go with whatever Trump says. I'm watching Judge Jeanine Pirro on January 6th in New York at the studio, claiming that what happened on January 6th was Antifa. On the evening of January 6th, she's already claiming that's Antifa. You in New York. You ain't in D.C. How the fuck you know that's Antifa? And obviously, historically, that's turned out to be a lie. Well, guess what Judge Jeanine Pirro is now? She's part of the Trump administration. So there is no liberal, Biden, Obama, there's none of them that have as many employees going back and forth from any network like Trump does. You don't have any liberal that has taken on as many MSNBC affiliates or CNN affiliates. We know one or two here or there, but Trump, I think they said it's been like 20 something of them. Like 20, I think Kimberly Guilfoyle was one. I can't think of, I mean, there's been a lot of folks that has either worked for Trump and now work for Fox, or work for Fox and now work for Trump. I think it's over 20 of them. That's, to me, state TV. You're not going to hear hardly any decent opinion that's critical of Trump on that network. If Trump does something wrong, they just don't cover it much. It's as simple as that. Looking in the comments, CNN had guests literally crying on election night. Crying on election night is one thing. Showing up on stage to campaign for the guy, like Sean Hannity and stuff, is another. I could see where you're saying is that if you're crying when Biden loses, that shows you're a fucking liberal. But to me, that is different than if you actually were on stage campaigning for Biden. The Fox News Network, Jeanine Pirro, Harris Faulkner, these people were on TV at Trump rallies. They were campaigning for the guy. I mean, they have, Instagram accounts and shit like that, where they're not working for Fox. You can see what they're doing in their personal time. They literally are posting shit at rallies and stuff like that. Sean Hannity has his personal phone number. Came out during the January 6th hearings committee that he was trying to call him and tell him to call out the stuff going on. And you don't hear it. It's way, way more intertwined, Fox and Trump, than anything from CNN and MSNBC. Anything like that. You mean the fact? You mean like fact checking Trump and not Kamala? I keep saying though, I'm not saying that MSNBC is not in the tank for the liberals, but working for the president is a big difference. It's one thing to be pro Biden. It's another thing to be fucking working for him. Big difference. Big difference. I'm reading your rebuttals, but it's a big difference. You actually left the network and went to work for the guy, or you left the guy and went to work for the network. It's not the same. It's not the same. Leave Kamala alone. She is an amazing woman. Says, well, she's on the sideline now. Real quick in the comments before we move on. Creed says, now you believe in capitalism. Go figure. I always believe in capitalism, but I believe that you need a hybrid system. I don't believe anybody, even my diehard capitalists, would want an America that was 100% capitalism. If you don't have socialist tenets in our society, it won't work. You'll have monopolies. You'll have child labor. I mean, all of those labor protections you get at your job, all of that shit's socialist tendencies to make it fair. Remember, socialism is about trying to make it fair for everybody. You would not want a pure capitalist country. You would not want, like I always use the 911 example. In a truly capitalist environment, if you dial 911, the police would charge you for that. They wouldn't just give you that service and the taxpayers pay for it. If you're homeless and you need to call the cops, they wouldn't serve you. You don't have any money. That's true capitalism. So I'm fine with capitalism, but you need socialist tenets for it. It wouldn't work without it. Handsome Agent Boo says, Tim, MAGA reacts is stupid. He doesn't know the definition of insanity to old timers. I think MAGA reacts is trying his best just to defend the cause. That's the way I look at it. I don't buy into the notion that anything a president of the United States says should be ignored. If you're governing 300 and some odd million people, 360, 370 million people in this country, it ain't shit you say that people should have to ignore. If it's coming out of your mouth on live TV, people should be able to take that at face value. The MAGA side of the aisle, who often criticize Biden as being out of his faculties and not knowing where the hell he's at and can't string together a sentence, the same folks who say that about Biden kind of want you to view Trump in a similar manner. Well, he's just like old grandpa. Sometimes he rambles off at the top of the head. Don't pay it no mind. That's what we were supposed to look at Biden like that. This guy's supposed to be totally sane, unlike Biden. He's supposed to know what the fuck he's saying. But yet to defend him, well, he really can't do that. Don't pay that no mind. Just like he's old. He's just like an old grandpa reciting war stories again. Don't worry. That doesn't make any sense. I don't buy that. If you president of the country, what you say should fucking matter. Don't make me put my foot so far up. MAGA reacts. Damn Asian Boo. All right, let me go back to the box. And thank you for the sub. Somebody gave me a sub. Appreciate that. Did not see it. Don't know who that was, but thank you. I think it was Lewis. Appreciate that, Lewis. Unless you only live for others, I don't get that. This is some dumbass shit, says Goob. Goob, go ahead and elaborate on that. I don't block, ban, or censor. You can be critical all you want of the host or anyone else, but add some meat to that plate. This is some dumbass shit doesn't say enough. Let me know what's dumb. You might have a point. By a country, Israel's so dumb, he was nominated by another criminal. Don't know what you're saying there, Kevin. All right, let me go back to the box. Are you feeling safer now that Trump is deporting everybody? Twisted 7-7. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Twisted. Did you hear that ICE trucks are being deported when they are? Did you hear that ICE trucks are being? You say deported. I guess you mean reported. Where did that comment go? Damn, your comment disappeared. I know people are looking for ICE. Twisted. Good evening. Long time no hear.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You listened in a little bit. What am I getting wrong? I know I'm always getting something wrong with you. Help me out.
Well, you gotta give me the agenda for the evening because I only caught the last bit of what
okay.
Baker was saying.
Yeah, the agenda is now that Trump is involved in the largest deportation in history. He talked about, there's a few reasons why we needed to, deport all these folks and make sure the country is safe. There's a lot of bad hombres coming in the country. He talked about they're taking jobs and reducing American salaries, taking away black jobs or whatever he said. And then, of course, the social programs, they're getting EBT cards, food stamps, and things like that. So what I'm asking is, now that we're involved in the largest deportation in history, do you feel safer when you walk down American streets now?
I didn't feel unsafe before.
Even with all the bad hombres in the country?
We don't have a large, I'm in Pennsylvania, we don't exactly have a large illegal immigrant population here.
Mm-hmm.
No, not that I haven't been mistaken for one.
Okay. Oh, you've been mistaken for one yourself, huh? Okay. So, what about? I'll skip to the third one because if you don't have a large immigrant population, then you're not seeing an influx.
We do have a large immigrant population, just not a large illegal immigrant population.
No shit.
Like say for instance, like Texas or California or something like that, because of how far north we are.
Yeah. Well, you do realize he is deporting immigrants that are. If you're a green card holder, he's deporting people with misdemeanors and shit. I got a guy did a live earlier today. He's Mexican. He's back in Mexico. The title of his live is "I got deported May 2nd" or something like that. He had a green card for 19 years. He had been going back to Mexico, visiting family and friends, and he said when he came back and they brought up that he had a misdemeanor on his record from 2010, they used that. He said he paid like $17,000 while in detention fighting that, and he lost. He is now in Mexico.
Okay.
So it's not just illegals. He had a green card for 19 years.
Okay.
So when you say in your area you have a large immigrant population, just not illegals, I'm like, well, they qualify in this. They're part of this.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Say you have somebody staying at your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not a permanent resident. They're not a member of your family, but they're just hanging out.
Okay.
Then they break your rules, and you kick them out.
In 2010, I'm kicking them out in 25.
The timing, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I'll tell you why.
It doesn't to me.
Okay, to you. Okay.
I get what you're saying. Listen. I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. It's after the fact. I get that. But the simple fact is, it happened. It should have happened then when he committed the misdemeanor.
So the fact that he committed
you're here as a guest. When you have that green card, you're here as a guest.
I get all of that.
And it says right on that damn thing. If you break the law, you're gone.
I'm totally with you on that, but the 15 years he has been here since and not committed a crime at all, that's just meaningless, huh? Black and white. Break law must be punished. Break law must be punished. Just black and white.
Are you saying that if you break the law, you shouldn't be punished?
I'm saying there's people in this country that break the law all the damn time and don't get punished. Why do they have to be perfect?
Okay, but they're citizens. That's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. They're human beings. Why do they have to be perfect? You're going to punish this guy for...
You keep using that. You want to use that. You want to use that term. They're human beings. Everybody's human beings. So just take that out of the equation here.
Right.
You're talking about citizens versus non-citizens. Okay. When my sister, I should say my stepsister, left the country, green card holder, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
When she came back, because she had been gone for over 6 months, I think it was 6 or 9 months, I can't remember. They almost didn't let her back in.
Wow.
Because she had been gone too long.
Okay.
Okay, they didn't care.
But they let her back in anyway,
You guys
though.
talk about this. You guys, yes. They said if she left within 6 months, she would never come back in. That she wouldn't be allowed back in. Mind you, her husband, who had stayed here over his visa and left with her to get married in Peru, they went to Italy. They came back here. They put him on a plane and sent him right back. They wouldn't let him in.
Okay. Let me.
And in fact, he wasn't allowed in for 7 years because he overstayed his visa.
Wow. And that's what the Trump administration is trying to say.
No, this wasn't Trump.
I'm saying they're doing something. They're doing something comparable. They're making it sound like if you self-deport, for instance, you may be to come back one day, versus if you don't, you can never come back. I mean, they're saying something like that too, where you may not be to come back.
The thing is that you guys sit up here, you talk about immigration like you have a freaking clue, because none of you have actually done it. None of you are immigrants. None of you have come into this country. None of you have a green card. Hell, I could talk to my father right downstairs. He came in as an illegal immigrant. Okay, he can tell you all about it. He's a citizen now.
Let me interrupt you. Let me tell you the reason why people are pushing back is because Trump is calling folks rapists and murderers. Look, if the person is here illegally, and we can talk about getting an illegal immigrant out of the country that came in the country illegally and committed a misdemeanor or whatever, but automatically claiming are rapists and murderers is pissing people off. I mean, look, if he's here illegally, you gotta go. That's one thing, but don't make up all of these wild crimes and shit to demonize people, and that's what he's.
Are there people that have come over the border illegally that are rapists and murderers?
You know what I'm talking about, Twisted.
I'm not. No, I don't know what you're talking about because
Okay, let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. Most of the people that are in El Salvador, for instance, are not rapists and murderers. Most of the people that are in Alligator, Alcatraz are not rapists and murderers. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but are some of them?
I don't even know if some of them are.
It's a simple question.
I don't even know. I'm not
some
even.
Of those people, rapists and murderers.
I'm not even for sure some of them are.
Wait, Tim. Because you keep saying that like that's all he ever says when he talks about illegal immigrants. Like he's just running around screaming, they're all rapists and murderers. But that's simply not what he said. But you're putting that on him.
What did he say?
That ain't right. Because I'll agree with you in a lot of things and I'll disagree with you on some things.
Okay.
But we can agree on truth versus not truth.
All right.
Like when you were saying earlier about, a purely capitalist society doesn't freaking work, I agree with you. There has to be some regulation. Now, too much regulation is stifling. Not enough is bad. You have to have a balance. I agree with you there. But the fact of the matter is, I can agree with you there because we can have, that discussion. So when he says rapists and murderers, you know exactly who he's talking about. You don't have to figure it out. You don't need a damn translator. And you don't need any of this crap you're pulling on. You're doing it on purpose.
Okay,
That's why it bothers me.
Well, not to bother you, but let me listen to him again. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Let's hear what he actually said during that era. I want to hear what he said. Maybe you can correct me, and I'm hearing it wrong. Maybe.
Mexico sends its people. They're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems. And they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. Who's number one?
Now, listening to what he said, I'm hearing that Mexico really sends anybody good. It sounds like they're not sending their best and brightest. They're sending bad people. So when you say some of them,
who was he talking about there, though?
He clearly said Mexico.
But was he talking about legal immigrants or illegal immigrants?
Who knows? So what they sending a bunch of rapists that are legal?
Wait, who knows? See, there you go, Tim.
I don't.
You know exactly who he was talking about because in the beginning of that, he was talking about illegal immigrants. He's always been talking about illegal, not legal, illegal.
Okay.
I don't know why you guys can't seem to separate those two things because there's a separation there.
You and I agree with Twisted. You and I agree that he's talking about illegal. What you and I don't agree with is that most of the illegals coming in this country are rapists and murderers.
But he's not saying every one of them is.
He said they're not
sending us their best. What did he say? Wait, what did he say? They're not sending us their best. They're sending drug dealers. They're sending this. They're sending rapists.
So in other words, if
every single person.
So, in other words, based on what he said,
every person that comes over this border is a rapist and a murderer. Did he say that? Did those words come out of his mouth?
He said
just assigning them to him.
He just he clearly said they're not sending us their best and brightest. They're sending, and everything he said they're sending is bad. Did you not hear that?
Yes, illegals.
Right. So everything that they send illegally is a bad person, is a criminal. That's going to rape, murder, or bring drugs in.
Or illegally, they committed a crime to get
No,
here.
that ain't what he said.
That's a criminal.
No.
That's the definition of a criminal.
You didn't hear what I said. He made it sound like every. Well, let me clear it up again. No, you didn't. He clearly said when they send somebody over into this country illegally, that person is going to come here and deal drugs. They're going to rape or murder somebody. He didn't say nothing good is going to come out of those people. Anybody that enters this country illegally is coming here to rape, murder somebody. That's what he just said.
Okay, and what?
And that's not even remotely close to true.
Those things actually do happen. Wait. Those things actually do happen. So are you claiming that they're just the best people that are coming over that border illegally?
No.
They're just...
I'm claiming that he obviously greatly exaggerated how many of these people are coming over that's going to rape, murder, and do all this bad stuff. He greatly exaggerated it, is what I'm claiming.
Okay, and what's your point?
That is my point. Is that he's making
I
us.
want you to find me. Wait, hold on. I want you to find me one politician, one that has never exaggerated anything.
I thought he
I'll
wasn't.
give you $1 million.
I thought he wasn't a typical politician.
Yeah. When he first ran, he wasn't a politician. He's a politician now. You know it as well as I do.
So he ain't draining the swamp or nothing. He's just right in there with everybody, doing the same stuff they all do. Take your time.
Do you think he's doing anything different?
He ran on he's gonna be different.
How many presidents have you seen in your life?
I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. I don't know. I can remember Carter on up. Carter, Reagan,
Now,
HW. What?
At the end of the day, did any of them do anything really different, or was it after their term ended? It's just business as usual.
They did things that are different.
Okay, so there you go, right there. He's a president. He ain't a freaking king. Shit's gonna go on the same way they always do. And you know why? Because nobody pays attention to who's really in power.
I don't know anybody that exaggerated and suggested that all of these folks are rapists and murderers. You compared them with I don't know any other president that did that.
Yes, I know you're hung up on that. You're hung up on the rapists.
That's pretty serious.
You're hung up on that.
That's pretty serious, Twisted.
Hung up on the 24 hours. You're gonna hold on to that for the next 50 years. I don't care. Move past it, man. Can we talk about what's going on today? Rather than what happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
But here's what I don't get.
Today, the New York Times, it literally admitted that those pardons that Biden didn't actually authorize them.
Here's what I don't get. By the way, you say let's talk about what's happening today. Then you went right into Biden authorizing pardons, which didn't happen today. But here's what I don't understand.
No, but that article happened today.
Here's what I do not understand. When it comes to Trump, you got to keep dismissing what he said and focus on today. But yet, when it comes to the liberals, we're bringing up the crime. Hold on. You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
When it comes to Trump, when it comes to the right, we're bringing up the crime bill. We're bringing up Willie Brown with Kamala Harris. But when it comes to Trump, we got to talk about what's happening today. You're bringing up shit from the early '90s and stuff on the Democrats. Vote for me, you ain't black is like 10 years old or something. You're bringing up all this old shit. But when it comes to Trump, why can't we talk about what's happening today?
When did I bring that up?
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I brought up an article that actually happened today.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, because you've been saying this whole rapists and murderers things for the last 4 years, 5 years now.
Did he not say it?
8 years. 8 years.
Did he not say it?
Yeah, you just hung up on it. It just stuck in your craw.
Yes.
I get it, dude. I get it.
Yes.
You guys love illegal immigrants. You love these criminals. You want them to stay here because it pads your census numbers. That gives you an extra 12 seats in the House.
No, I'm going
12 freaking seats in the House.
I'm going
That, my friend, is what we call cheating.
Well.
When you bring in
Really?
people who cannot vote. Wait, hold on. When you bring in a group of people who cannot vote, okay, you bring them into your districts to pad your numbers to get extra seats. What would you call that?
Fake electors. You ever heard of them?
Yeah. You think it's the first time that's happened?
What does that got to do with it? That's like me going to jail. Hold on. That's like me going before. That's like me going. Hold on. Hang on. We gotta have a conversation. Twisted. We gotta have a conversation. That's like me going before a judge being charged with a felony. Well, you think that's the first time that happened? That doesn't matter. If I'm accusing him of something, it doesn't matter that it happened before.
All right, let's go over the fake electors thing because I'm going to school you here. I'm going to educate you.
Please do.
If you thought you won the election, okay, and you're fighting for that, hold on. Doesn't matter if you did or you didn't. You thought you did, right?
Yeah.
Simple as that. Okay, and you have to send electors. You have to. Whether you want to or not, you have to send them. But now you're calling them fake. But when like I said, it has happened before. Under a Democrat, nobody called them fake electors. Nobody said the same. That shit didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
Okay, because they knew exactly. But because it's Trump and because you guys hate him more than life itself, I have never met a group of people in my life who hated a man more than you guys hate Trump.
And you believe that just happened for
Michael,
no.
you can shut your pie hole because I don't. Yeah, I hate that guy. He's a racist.
I would like for you to talk to him. I would like for you to talk to him, to be
I
honest.
have no desire. I have no desire to talk to a racist. I have no desire to talk to a racist.
Well, let me go back to what you said. How they hate Trump more than anybody. You've never seen that. You don't think all of the mean tweets and the fuck your feelings and the Pocahontas. You don't think that has anything to do with it at all, huh?
Oh, I know it has something to do with it.
All right then.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't.
So when you make a statement like you ain't never seen nobody hate a president, when you make a statement like you ain't never seen nobody hate a president more than Trump, then you're admitting because of what he's doing.
It's because he actually pushes back rather than some of these guys who say they don't do anything.
You think Pocahontas is pushing
In
back?
that respect,
You think Pocahontas is pushing back?
no, he is a showman, but it was funny.
Right.
It's
So
not
you're
right.
so
It's not right.
right.
It's
You're
not
making.
right. And I'm not saying that he doesn't get some of the hate that he's deserved. I'm never going to say that. Okay, he gets hate, and he deserves some of it, but the level at which he gets is nowhere near. Okay.
That's your opinion. I can't speak on it.
Screaming. I didn't see anybody screaming. The level of hatred for Biden wasn't even this bad.
Yeah, but Biden wasn't.
I vote for the guy, but I never.
Yeah, but
I
if
never wished ill on him.
Yeah, but you say the level of hate for Biden wasn't this bad, but you compare how many times Biden took to social media or television and insulted somebody on the right compared to Trump. I doubt if it's even 1,001. I mean, Biden wasn't even on TV that much. You cannot put Trump on TV without him insulting somebody. I mean, he doesn't. He's still talking about Biden right now.
Half the freaking country and called us terrorists.
We're not talking about the country, Twist. We're talking about the damn president of the United. Hold on. There's a big difference between. Hold on, hang on. There is a. It doesn't matter. Hold on. You're not here. He called half the country a socialist, a communist. He just said the other day that he hates the Democrats. They hate America. So should we skip over all of that?
Some of them do hate America.
I can. What you're doing is acting shocked when people hate Trump, and you're excusing all the things that Trump does that's hateful to everybody else. Well, they deserved it. Well, he's pushing back.
What I'm saying is, I get that some people.
No, you don't.
No, wait.
I don't see it.
I understand that.
No, you don't.
What I don't understand is when people hate him to the point that they wish him unalived. Okay. And I've heard it more than 100 times. I've never heard that from Republicans or conservatives when it comes to a Democrat president. I've never heard that shit.
Have
not
you?
To this level, at any rate.
Okay, so when you say
I'm not going to say I've never heard. I'm not going to say I've never heard it when it comes to a Democrat, but not like this.
Okay, but the idea that
any day of the week and find somebody talking about unaliving him.
But the idea
What's going on?
that Trump would literally go on social media and post a picture of Biden hogtied in the back of a car. What's your opinion on that?
What was the context behind it? Dude, all you want. If you don't know the context behind it, what's this about? Is it a political cartoon? Did somebody write it? What happened here? Don't keep laughing.
I'm not laughing. I'm joking on that.
Get it out of your system. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You know that. If you gotta laugh about it. Context is important. Michael, I know your context. Your context is you hate white people. I get it. Shut the hell up.
He posted a picture while running for president of a sitting president hogtied in the back. What context can even make that make sense? I'm gonna give you a chance to anything you want to come up. What context could that actually be a good thing?
What was it a political cartoon? I'm asking because I don't know. I never saw it. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So I need context.
If you never saw that, you must really.
You're just laughing, okay?
Okay, here's the picture. Damn. The context of it is one of his supporters did this, had this on the back of his car, and Trump saw it and actually took it and posted it on his Truth Social account. So Trump reposted it. That's the context of it. Nothing else. Trump saw somebody who really hated Biden with this image, and he liked it so much he reposted it. That's the context.
Okay. So somebody thought it was funny and reposted it.
And then the president apparently thought it was funny too.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
You just said you've never seen so many people wishing that Trump lost his life. But then I show you somebody hog-tying him, which obviously they mean harm to him, and suddenly it's funny and there's not a problem with it.
Wait, why isn't Biden's head like dangling like Kathy Griffin did, right? Because that was the same thing. You guys all said that was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with that, right? Do you remember that? No, you probably don't remember.
I remember that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You remember it happened, and that was okay. That was freedom of expression. That was fine. There was nothing wrong with that. That was the greatest thing ever.
I never said
This is a
that.
problem for you.
I never said that.
No, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Now that's a problem for you. That image right there of Biden hogtied in the back of a truck. That's terrible.
In this to you, but according to you,
somebody
this is.
holding up a bloody head of Trump. That.
But according to you, this is funny. I mean,
It's funny.
To me,
I never said there was anything wrong with Kathy Griffin's thing either.
to me,
The point is, I'm showing you your hypocrisy.
no, you're actually being you're actually being hypocritical. To me, if you don't see nothing wrong with what Kathy Griffin did, if you think this is funny, then people calling for the unalive of Trump is kind of just right along the path to all of this shit. It should be okay too. All of this stuff is in the same realm.
That's a call to action. No. See, that's different. That's a call to action.
And this is not.
Again, you know that's a joke.
How do I know? No, I don't know this. No. If I see this, there's only.
You can't figure out that's a joke.
No.
So when you see the one with I've seen that same tailgate thing, except not with Biden, but with a Sasquatch across it, right?
You think
Candles? Do you think that guy's going out there to try to make sweet love to a Sasquatch? No, it's just fucking joke, and you know it.
No, I don't.
Unless you don't have a sense of humor.
I don't have.
I can understand if you don't have a sense of humor.
Then you can understand. I do not have a sense of humor to the point where I see a president hogtied in the back of a trunk of a car and laugh at that. No, I do not have that much of a sense of humor. I'll admit, I don't find this funny. Just like I didn't find Kathy Griffin thing funny. Just like I don't find people calling for the death of Trump funny. I don't know. I don't.
You didn't find it funny, but the fact that you didn't find it funny means you know it was a joke.
No, I don't think it's a joke at all.
Oh, so does that thing there? Does that image there say go kidnap Biden?
This image here says that if somebody was to do this, it would be okay.
No. Does it say that?
I'm not listening. You and I can interpret this.
That's the difference. That's the difference. Because where that is just an image, okay, when people say go out and unalive Trump, that's not okay. See, that's a call to action. That's telling somebody to
That doesn't make any sense. So you're telling me if I actually say go hurt you, hold on, let me respond. You're telling me if I tell people to come hurt you, that's bad. But if I draw a picture of people hurting you, that's okay. Because it's a picture as opposed to actually saying it. You do realize people have used pictures to communicate for centuries. A picture is just as good as words. It can also tell people what to do.
Which one's going to hold up in court? Yeah, there's a difference. The difference, Tim, but you don't get that.
You know how many kids have been kicked out of school because...
If that image was that bad, okay, the Secret Service would have been all over that guy.
You know how many kids have been kicked out of school because they drew a picture of them using a pew-pew to take out of school? You don't need to say it. A picture is valuable. This is a picture of a felony in progress, period.
Okay. But again, you didn't. If you can hold the same energy for what Kathy Griffin did, because according to you, then she should be in jail, right? Is she in jail?
No, I don't think the guy who did this should be in jail.
Because whoever was employing her didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think the guy who drew this.
Did she face any criminal prosecution?
No, I don't think the guy that did this.
Again, what is the problem?
I don't think the guy that did this should be in jail. Now you're going to a different level with it. I think it's wrong. I don't think he should be in jail.
No, I'm not. Because you just said that is an image of a crime in progress. Yeah. You're saying that is a call to action.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're giving it as the same level as somebody calling out to action. So therefore, Kathy Griffin should be in jail
I
for
disagree
what
with
she
you.
did.
I disagree with you. I think even if you
Oh,
even
see, of course you disagree with me
I
because
think-
it's the other way around. You
and,
can't have the same energy for one and not have it for the other.
okay, we can if you think that this is funny, but calling for Trump's life is not. Yeah, we disagree. We totally disagree. Because you're basically saying calling for action
I
by
know what's a joke.
you.
I know what a joke is.
Okay.
Just like I knew Kathy Griffin said
Yeah,
it was
okay.
a joke.
But the
Okay, it
but
was
the
a poor
but the
joke.
calling
It was a
of but the
terrible
calling
joke.
for
I didn't
calling for the
appreciate
death
the
of
joke,
Trump
but
is not a joke. Calling for the death of Trump, is that not a joke? Is that a joke too?
What are you talking about? We're talking about two different things, man. We're talking about two very different things.
Let me ask you this: is it possible to have a joke that's in poor taste? Can you have a joke that's insulting?
Of course it is.
All right, then let's go with that.
Yes.
Then let's go with that. Then it's in poor taste. That's why people hate Trump. It's a joke that's in very poor taste and it's insulting, as you just admitted.
Okay, and what I'm saying is, if I were outside of your home, okay, throwing a live saying, hey, if somebody burned this place down right now, that'd be pretty freaking cool. You would be going, what the hell is wrong with you? Send this guy to jail. Get this person away from me, wouldn't you?
But what if I was
You'd be like,
outside?
oh, it's okay.
What if I was outside of your house holding up a picture of people burning your house down? Would that then make it a joke?
A little different, wouldn't it be?
I gotta go, Twisted. I gotta go.
You gotta think of context, man.
I don't.
If I showed a picture of your house on fire, just me willy-nilly, be one thing. But if I was standing outside your house, now that's a different story.
All right. I gotta go. We totally disagree.
You know it as well as I do.
No.
Well, I know we totally disagree, and we're not always
Yeah.
going to agree.
Yes, that's true.
And that's okay.
But you're always welcome on the program.
That's
man.
okay. And that's the best part about being in this country is that we don't have to agree on anything and still coexist.
Good
And I'll
shit.
tell you this one thing. I'll leave you this note here. All this crap that you see people talking about on here, all this horrible things that make our country sound like, but you can still walk down the street. I seen you walk down the street the other day. Do you have any problems? Is anybody harassing you? Anybody giving you shit?
No.
Life ain't like what we see on here. It's a caricature.
Well, I
It's
hope you.
extremists on both sides screaming their freaking heads off, but the most of us are just going out doing our thing just like we always have. You look at that riot in L.A. Okay, before the 4th of July, the whole anti-ICE thing, and everyone was saying, "But it's such a small area. It's like 1 or 2 blocks." Of course, it's only 1 or 2 blocks. That's all the people that actually give a shit, because most people don't fucking care.
And we sent
Most people
and we
just
sent
live
in
their
the
damn lives.
and we sent in the Marines for something that was only 1 or 2 blocks wide.
Sent in the Marines to guard a building, and you got a problem with that? Why?
You ever heard the phrase overkill?
How is it overkill?
You sent in the Marines to guard the Marines. You didn't pick the National Guard. You didn't pick the FBI. You went all the way up to the Marines to guard one building. Was it Fort Knox?
National Guard was out there too.
Was it Fort
National
Knox?
Guard was out there too.
What's in the building? What is it? I don't want to sound like Brad Pitt at the end of 7, but what's in the building? What are you? Why the Marines? What kind of building were you guarding?
Okay. Was the National Guard out there too?
Okay, that's even that adds even more to it.
Okay.
What
Now-
you're guarding one building? What's in the building?
Okay, let me ask you another question. Do you recall what happened in Seattle to a federal courthouse for, was it 40 days? It was attacked by Antifa.
Yeah.
40 days. Okay, so that's a precedent. That happened, okay? So if you don't want that to happen again, what are you going to do? You send out what you can. Okay?
So-
you don't want to take away from the LA police who are trying to contain riots. They're doing their thing. You leave
So
them
what you're
alone.
saying
You
is,
send out those federal troops. You can send out the Marines because that is what you're allowed to do.
so what you're saying is when during the mass
upset about it because they were standing around the building.
so during the mask mandates, when they went into the Michigan State House and they all of these MAGA folks that did not like Governor Gretchen Whitmer's mask mandates, they surrounded the Capitol building in Michigan and they all had firearms. You're saying they should have called the Marines in?
Well, Trump could have called in Marines.
Trump what?
She could have called in the National Guard, which was her purview if she wished. That was her right if she wanted to.
Is that what she should have done? Is that what she should have done?
What she should have done?
Yeah.
That's up there. I don't know. I don't have that.
What would you have done? What would you have done?
Okay, were people being violent?
They got the whole building surrounded and they're holding fire. Do you need to wait till they fire a shot?
That's not what I asked you. Were they being violent?
They literally have taken over the building and they all are armed. Do you have to wait till they fire a shot before you call it violent? They're blocking people from getting in their office. They're intimidating and scaring. They're scaring the shit out of everybody.
You're conflating two different things here.
What would you have done? I'm asking you. What would you have done? You're not answering my question. What would you have done?
What would I have done? That's a good question. I'm not going to say one way or the other.
I gotta go. All right.
Tim, don't let
I gotta
me
wait.
what actually happened. You guys get upset.
You don't have an answer. I gotta go. I mean, the minute. All right. Appreciate it, Twisted.
You know what?
Quickly.
Have a good one.
You too, man. Good talk. All right, moving on. Listen, if we don't have disagree, but Twisted comes hard. We disagree on everything. Certainly the notion that a picture of the president, the current commander-in-chief, being hogtied in the back of a pickup truck, being posted to the internet by the guy running for president is somehow a joke. Me and him disagree with that totally, but he's always welcome back on the program. That's how we do it here. If you like this type of dialogue, show your boy some love. Follow the program if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Clapper or TikTok. Follow the program. I'm seeing something popping up on. Thank you for the support you guys are showing on Clapper. Wow. The general public can feel that way, but not the president. Yeah. What happened in Minnesota proves it's not a joke. Yeah. I think what me and him disagreed on is that he sees verbal as serious, art as comedy, even though you can literally deliver the same message either by drawing it or saying it. But if you if he had a call, if somebody had a called by using their mouth, had stated they wanted Biden to be put in the back of a pickup truck and hogtied, I guess then it would be a call of action. But drawing a picture of it is not. Me and him disagree on that. Like I stated to him, they've used art as a form of communication for centuries in the country, or on the planet rather, on cave walls and everything. I mean, they've always used art and drawings to communicate. So I don't know why all of a sudden the minute you put it into the form of a picture, it turns into a joke. And by the way, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a joke or not. It's a very, very poor taste joke. And I only brought it up because of what he says. I have never seen somebody hate a president the way they hate Trump. Well, any president ever do stuff like that? You wouldn't have got that. I mean, Biden referred to MAGA as garbage once they started talking about the island. They had a joke, another one of those tasteless jokes, but a joke that Puerto Rico was an island of garbage. Biden was pissed off, so he said, well, MAGA's garbage. And when you really look at all of the insults that Biden stated towards MAGA, I don't even think he said 1/1000 in comparison to Trump. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't insult MAGA at all, but I think Trump probably said 1,000 times more stuff negative than Biden. Even Trump's holiday messages are usually stuff like Merry Christmas to all the radical left lunatics that hate America. I mean, it's stuff like that. Biden ain't doing all that stuff. So, look, it's one thing to accept it. It's another thing to pretend like you don't understand why people don't like Trump. Even if you like what he's doing, even if you like that he's, going at the liberals and all of that shit, fine, you like it, but don't pretend like you don't understand why they're coming back at him. I mean, if you're walking down the street bopping people over the head, don't pretend like you don't understand why people throwing shit at you. I mean, he is doing stuff. Looking in the comments, like, seriously, our Republicans talking about her getting shot in a positive way because that was a long time ago. I had to assume they're talking about somebody. Okay, I don't know what you're saying there. You see what they've done at the Capitol. They built a noose to lynch somebody. Yeah, you talking about January 6th? Yeah. This is why the left can't meme. Well, I hope the left don't post a meme of Trump in the back of a pickup truck like that. And I'll tell you one thing. There's no way in hell Biden would have retweeted a picture of Trump hogtied in the back of a car. Biden just would not have done that. He just would not have done that. I don't even know if Maxine Waters or Some of the liberal folks who are more outspoken against Trump, I don't think they would have even done nothing like that. I mean, there has to be a limit somewhere. I mean, shit. I mean, what's next? Showing him with an axe in his head? Looking in the comments. Continue on, rather. Lewis, good evening. Welcome to the program, Lewis. Shane, come on, you can't believe it. What did Shane say again? Shane, you be crazy because gender reassignment surgery is child mutilation. All right, that's what he said. Lewis, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Tim. How you doing?
I don't even know after my last call. What am I getting wrong, man? What am I doing wrong?
I think sometimes they say one, people can say what they want to say about you, but it's always kind of obvious when you open your mouth and prove them right. He just proved that he's pretty racist.
Ooh.
And not only that, he's definitely ultimately biased on his side.
Okay. I'll agree with the bias part. Where are you getting the racist part from, though?
Because just what he says, it's just a, Tim, you know how you could just feel it.
Okay.
When you know, that's why I hate when white people try to say something like white people try to say that.
You can say white, yeah.
They don't feel that. when a black person says how they feel about something, and then a white person says, "Well, I don't see that because it's not happening to you."
That's that whole P word that people often deny, which is privilege. I mean, if you're not going through something, yeah, I mean, you have the privilege of not having to even consider it. I mean, and there are there's places like that where if the police pull you over and you just cooperate, nothing's going to happen. Well, you have the privilege that you've never had to deal with that. So some of that is privilege, and they hate when I say that.
I'm really going like I say, I rarely go into sites. I rarely go into. And another thing, I thought I was subscribed to you. I remember subscribing to you, but for some reason, it seemed like the last few months I've lost a lot of my subscriptions for some reason. I don't know why it's that way, and that's why I resubscribed tonight because I noticed that I wasn't. But I normally, like I say, I just don't get why somebody like Twisted, they only come up to be. I think just to kind of slow your life down a little bit. I think Mega.
No, he doesn't. Listen,
annoying as Mega is,
I don't think he slows
it
the life
kind
down.
of still makes the.
No, I gotta disagree with you. Me and Twisted disagree on every fucking thing. I mean, like, you heard me tell him he's always welcome on the show. We disagree. He leans right. He leans a lot further right than I ever could dream of leaning. And I mean, he's passionate in his opinion, like most of my viewers are, but I don't think he's slowing down the program. He just is offering a different perspective.
See, and that's why I kind of agree with Granny when she says that you are a big time fluffer. Because I'm just because you tolerate that foolishness. I mean, it's like to me. And number one, Tim, if he was standing in front of my house holding a picture or actually telling people to burn my house down, he's going to be excommunicato. Do you understand?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, so it's like it'd be a new point at that. Nobody has to say he ain't got to wait for nobody to come arrest him because I'm not calling 911. Number one, you know what I'm saying? So it's not about being arrested or going to jail or anything. You're gonna be somewhere else. But my thing is like this: is that it's just stuff like that that just really bothers me. Well, that's why I'm saying I want to just come up and just say I can't stand him and Mega back to back. So you want to stagger that shit a little bit better. I'll hang in there with you, Tim, and I'm gonna keep tapping and I'm gonna keep doing all that stuff. But when you bring those guys on, I am so freaking upset that I can't handle them back to back.
Well,
You gotta put Granny between both of them two.
well, but you realize how many of my viewers say they can't handle gangster grandma? I mean, I get people in the comments, I'm logging out, I'll come back when she's gone. So look, you don't like MAGA, there's a lot of my MAGA that don't like her.
I watch your site every night. I don't think even when I do try to come up sometime, I be praying that you don't bring me up after because man, but I'll tell you something. When she comes in your site though, they can say what they want to say, but she can add 100 people just from when she comes up. She has a lot of people that follow her and wait for see where she is, because she doesn't just do this on your site. She does that on everybody's site, Tim.
I was listening to her, happened to stumble on her at some other lives earlier today, and I was surprised. Yeah, I heard her earlier today. So yeah, she does go on other lives. She's very vocal. She's very passionate, very vocal.
Exactly.
So, but
and you know the funny thing about it, it sounds like she's kidding, but I'm telling you something, she is serious.
I never thought she was kidding. I never thought she was kidding.
And she's pretty intelligent. She's pretty intelligent. She's not just someone who's just rattling off crazy stuff or just going out the left field. She makes sense with what she says.
Yeah. Except for the fluffing part.
Oh, she knows she's right on money with you, man. I'm telling you right now. Boy, you better be glad you better be glad this is not a porno. You know what I'm saying? Because man, you be the lead fluffer. I'm telling you right now, John Holmes ain't got shit on you.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You make John Holmes look like he just a peewee. You know what I'm saying? It's like, goodness, man.
I just enjoy talking to MAGA. I believe they should be able to speak just like the liberals do. And if letting them speak, it makes me a fluffer. Look, I just believe in free speech. I believe in free speech.
I love the way you handled Megan. I even gave you some props on that. I love the way you handled him tonight.
Thank you.
I mean, because you almost made him have to stop and think. And that's what it's all about. It's when you can make them, and you did the same thing with Twisted. Yeah. You can make them stop and think. Twisted is just too smart to give in. Mega will give in. Twisted, he's not going to give in. He's going to reverse it and go another angle. That's just the way he is.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, and like I always say, I'm not a know-it-all. Sometimes I learn from MAGA. Hopefully sometimes they learn from me or we exchange ideas. But I don't believe in necessarily trying to get the viewer to concede or the person to... Look, at the end of the day, you got hundreds of people listening to you. You don't have to concede a damn point to me at all. If you sound like an idiot, they can hear it. Just like if I sound like an idiot, my viewers will tell me you fucking, like you said, I'm fluffing. You can hear it. So even if I got somebody dead to rights on an issue and they're still trying to wiggle out of it and make up shit, Tim, the viewers can hear that.
Tim, don't get me wrong. I understand why you do it because that keeps it going. I understand it. I'm not saying to say that in a bad way, but it is fluffing no matter how you look at it.
It's not fluffing.
Let me say this to you too.
Thank you, Eric 50 on Clappers. But thank you, Eric. Go ahead.
When I use the term racist, it wasn't about that to twist it. I was saying that about Maven because when he said that your stuff looked ghetto,
yeah,
I thought that was a racist comment. And because Tim, you got one of the best backgrounds of anybody on this whole lot.
Wow.
Especially with that red hat back there.
Thank you.
Because that is very, it looks really professional.
Well, that red hat's gonna be gone in a few days. I ordered, because now the hats have the big letters. So I got a new one, should be coming here in a day or two. So we're gonna have a more modern MAGA hat.
Tim, see, that's that fluffing shit.
Well, that's what's happening.
That's that fluffing shit right there. Man, that hat, you don't know how annoying that hat is to us liberals, man. I mean, goodness, bro. I mean, I know why you do it, but goodness, man, it's just too much. It's just too much. Won't you put a Confederate flag back there?
Oh no, we don't need that. That's different. Listen, let me tell you the reason my backdrop is generally what's relative to what's going on. It used to be Trump and Kamala up there. Well, first it was Trump and Biden when Biden. So the only way the Confederate flag would appear up there is if it was relevant.
To a liberal, that red hat is the same thing as a Confederate flag.
Ooh. Yikes. That's pretty bad.
I mean, that's just the way. I'm just telling you. That's how everybody looks at it. Especially, and that guy was saying he was from Pennsylvania. I'm like, where's he talking about in Pennsylvania where we don't have a lot of immigrants? We have a lot of immigrants, but I live in central Pennsylvania and own a house in Philly. And I'm telling you something, we're surrounded by agriculture. You know what I'm saying? And there's ain't no Americans out there working them farms. They all immigrants. I have several friends that own farms, and they have all immigrant workers.
What about what about like Hershey and all that? All that's red, ain't it?
Yeah, and a lot of those guys that work in places like, well, no, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
No, man, Hershey, Pennsylvania is pretty freaking liberal, dude. That's
Oh.
where Hershey.
Yeah, the
Hershey
candy.
is
Yeah.
very Yeah, Hershey's all about, Milton Hershey's like all about minorities. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a very expensive school there. Hershey School is like very popular. People from all over the world sending their kids there. It's a pretty prestigious place, and they're very liberal.
Oh, I didn't know
Lancaster
that.
and Hershey are two of the most liberal places in Pennsylvania. Lancaster and Hershey, which Hershey is in Lancaster County.
Did not know that. All right, well, Louis, I got to move it on, but thank you for accusing me of fluffing once more.
Well, all right, Tim, you're doing a great job, man. Just hanging there. I love when I run into you inside those sites. Well, no matter where you go, I follow you. I'm following you. So if I see you in there, I'm gonna come in there and just listen to you anyway.
Appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming in the other live. And I appreciate you coming in the other live as a veteran and letting them know that flag burning and all, how to dispose of a flag, because I don't think they knew that.
Totally 100% legal. I mean, it's like nothing nobody can do about you burning a flag other than getting pissed off, and maybe you have to dust them off a little bit. But if you wanted to burn a flag on the White House steps, you could do it. There ain't nothing they can do about it.
Trump has talked about giving you a year in prison for doing that, so he may be trying to do something about that.
But like I say, he's one of those guys that go against the Constitution when he's the number one lead for the Constitution, and he doesn't know that. He violates it the most when he's the one that's supposed to uphold it the most.
That's our president. Louis, thanks for coming through.
All right, Tim, have a good one, man.
You
Take
too.
care.
You too.
Good night.
Looking in the comments, how do you get rid of an American flag with filthy? What do you got there, Eric? How do you get rid of an American flag with filthy? I don't know what you mean by with filthy. There's no room for the Confederate flag in America. It's blasphemy. Damn. I don't know about it being. I don't know what the reference to it being blasphemous, but I do see it as a symbol that was, perpetrated by folks that wanted to break the country up. I don't know why the Confederate flag, considering it, what is it? Is the battle flag, whatever the proper terminology for it is. You always hear people come in and correct it, but whatever the terminology for it is, I don't know how it was able to last. I mean, because they had bad intentions for the United States. They wanted to break up the country, which would have made us weaker. They wanted to take the life of the president, Abraham Lincoln, and of course they had nothing in store that was good for people of color. And yet their flag is being waved all around. I never could understand that. Real quick in the comments here, because, I saw that already. Somebody talking about gender reassignment surgery is child mutilation. Obama's daughter was DEI'd, and I don't know what you guys are having. A different conversation must be. He said the Confederate flag was the Democrats' flag. Okay, then why the hell are the Republicans waving it around so much now? That doesn't. You talk about a party switch didn't happen. You're right. The Democrats were the party of the party of the KKK, the party of slavery, party of the Confederate South. The Democrats was all of that shit. But for some reason, the Republicans decided, well, let us start waving their flag around. Let us defend their causes. I don't understand that, other than something obviously switched. Because the Democratic South, the party of the Confederates, were fighting against the Union North and literally trying to kill them. So why the hell would those people all of a sudden, the Republican Party is who they're trying to kill. Why would they all of a sudden start defending their symbols and statues and shit? That makes no sense at all. Why would you be in defense of, well, I want to make sure the general that tried to kill us, I want to make sure his history is preserved. That makes no sense at all. And folks are trying to push that out. Like, well, we just want to preserve history of the guy that tried to kill you, huh? Wow. You what are you, a history buff? Because those Dems switched to Republicans like Trump. Yeah, the party switch happened. I mean, to me, it's just claim the party switch didn't take place is just lying about history. I mean, any historian Anybody who actually is paid to deal with history and study history will tell you it actually took place. I get some folks are saying it didn't happen, but they were the party switch is as real as they come. I mean, there's just way too much shit like what I just mentioned. Why, if they didn't switch, why is the other side now taking up on all of the? I mean, you go to any Republican gathering nowadays, the Confederate flag is welcome there. Why would they just automatically become so friendly to what used to be a Democratic symbol if no switch happened? Even in northern states, if you're at a Republican gathering, the Confederate flag is welcome there. It is not welcome in the Democratic Party. So that, to me, is probably the best sign that something switched. The flag has switched from parties. I'll take a shit on the Confederate flag. Damn. Don't shit on the flag. The irony is that is hilarious. Yeah. To me, trying to pretend like the Confederate flag, trying to pretend like the parties did not switch with all of the circumstantial information that can't be explained makes no sense. The other side just decided to adopt all their symbols and protect all their statues for no reason at all. And the side that the Confederates, the Democrats who were the party of the Confederates, they just decided to give up all these flags and statues on it. The Democrats now no longer want anything to do with the Confederates flag. They don't want nothing to do with the statues, even though they were the Confederates. And the Republican Party now wants to affiliate with all of that stuff. And no switch happened. Just looking at that shit right there shows a switch. Like I said, it's so obvious that something happened. You got to make it make sense to try to pretend like it didn't happen. The Confederate flag was a pont to say we don't need you to. What is a pont? The Confederate flag was a pont. Look, it goes way beyond that. Okay, Trump just literally renamed military bases back after Confederate soldiers. Why would a Republican leader do that? Why would he rename military bases after Democrat soldiers? Obviously, a switch happened. It just makes no sense that all this stuff would be happening by coincidence. That all of the history, all of the defending of the Confederacy is being done by Republicans when they were all Democrats back in the day. And the Democrats don't want nothing to do with them. There's just so much evidence of a switch, because you say that, well, it shows us, well, it shows the Republicans doing because the Republicans are doing it because they want to show that you can't tell us what to do. Then why are the Democrats doing it? Why is the Democrats abandoning the Confederate stuff? It's obvious the switch happened. No, I can't make it make sense, Kevin. There's no way to make that make sense. Hey, man, it's not MAGA speaking and liberal speaking. It's the truth speaking verse lies, and that is what we have to sift through. Yeah. I have a house in Mississippi, and it was in Mississippi, and it was in the Mississippi flag. They just changed it to a magnolia. That is true. It was in the Mississippi flag, the Confederate. And my guess is, chances are there was a whole lot of Democratic politicians down in Mississippi that had something to do with switching it. Or chances are there was a hell of a lot of Republicans in Mississippi that was protesting changing the Mississippi flag. Just like when Nikki Haley, a Republican, took the Confederate flag off of the Capitol in South Carolina, even though she was a Republican, all of the resistance to what she was doing came from the Republican Party. There was no Democrats in South Carolina protesting her taking that down. It was all Republicans. Why would that happen if there was no switch? Why do the Republicans keep showing up to defend what is historically a Democratic symbol if there is no switch? Everywhere you see resistance to that stuff coming down, it's coming from Republicans. No switch happened at all. Charlottesville, good people on both sides. The folks on the right, once again, showing up to defend this stuff. No switch happened. Makes no sense at all. Assholes are the same color unless you bleach it, but who spends money on that? All right, so now we're talking about the color of assholes. It is getting late. I do appreciate the 110,000 likes. Thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Certainly on Clapper. Somebody showed me some love on Clapper. I do appreciate that. I don't know who was doing it, but thank you very much. They didn't come up live, but whoever on Clapper was helping out the program, I also do appreciate that. Nevertheless, I do got a step down. Hey, buddy, you're doing this tomorrow. Yeah, we're here generally Monday through Friday. So if you enjoy this type of dialogue, follow the program if you're watching on Clapper, if you're watching on TikTok. Give me a subscription if you're watching on YouTube. We click the notification bell, I think, on YouTube, so it'll tell you, because we're not always on at the same time. But if you click the notification bell, it should let you know. Way, sometimes we exchange between Clapper and Instagram. So if you got Instagram, once again, and that's Instagram, Clapper, and TikTok are all apps you can actually call in and be the audio portion of the program that's talking to me. So if you got Clapper, Instagram, or TikTok, follow the Handsome Liberal. Same, you can call me ugly ass in person, I get it. But the show is titled The Handsome Liberal. So if you got Clapper, Instagram, or TikTok, follow me on any of those platforms. We go live regularly there. And then, of course, YouTube, we're live on every show on YouTube as well. Nevertheless, we're talking about the color of assholes, which means it's about that time. I got to go get up and go to work like the rest of you folks do. Thank you for tuning in. It is your boy, Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Stay safe. And thank you on, I don't know what